Noah's visit to the crew had already attracted everyone's attention. The scene of him walking over to chat with Oliver soon caught the attention of the staff. Many curious eyes were looking over here. Everyone seemed to be guessing what the relationship between Mr. Noah and Oliver was. Why did he even chat with Oliver alone? The inquisitive looks from around made Oliver very uncomfortable, so he lowered his head and pretended to tidy up the takeaway food. Noah noticed Oliver's embarrassment and took the initiative to give him an excuse. "You have your meal first. I'll go over there and have a look." The man turned around and left. Only then did Oliver let out a soft breath. Just now, Mr. Noah was very close to him. His heart started beating faster for no reason, and he even had some difficulty breathing. He didn't know why, but he always couldn't help being nervous when he was alone with this alpha. He didn't have this feeling when he was with other alphas. After thinking carefully, Oliver thought the most likely reason was that he had lost control of his pheromones in front of Noah. That night, he lay on Noah's bed naked, clinging to him and asking for a mark. Of course, he felt embarrassed when seeing Mr. Noah. Just thinking about this made Oliver feel embarrassed, so he simply stopped thinking about it. He picked up a bag of takeaway and turned to go out. The shooting site had limited space, so Jack simply borrowed a meeting room from the school leadership for everyone to go in and eat. He also told them, "Go inside and eat. Remember to clean up the garbage after you're done." When Oliver entered the room and saw that his agent was also there, he consciously sat next to Emma and greeted her with a smile. Emma casually asked, "What did Mr. Noah talk to you about?" Oliver honestly replied, "We just talked about the piano for a while." Mr. Noah said that he also learned to play the piano. Emma let out an "oh" and was very puzzled in her heart. Just now, Mr. Noah had been staring intently at Oliver outside the window. After entering the room, he also took the initiative to chat with Oliver. She thought Mr. Noah had different feelings for Oliver. However, Mr. Noah only had a simple chat with Oliver and then turned to look for Isabella. It seemed that chatting with Oliver was just the boss casually caring about an employee. Mr. Noah's attitude was really hard to figure out. Emma simply gave up guessing and gently said, "Jack was quite satisfied with the scene just now, but he wants to strive for perfection. He wants to shoot it again this afternoon so that there will be more footage for post-production editing." Oliver understandingly said, "It's reasonable." As a newcomer, he didn't expect to pass it in one take. Everyone around opened their lunch boxes, and the smell of the food filled the room. Oliver was really hungry, so he focused on the food. Braised chicken drumsticks, tomato and beef brisket, snow peas, shredded pork with garlic sauce. They were all his favorite dishes. Oliver ate with gusto, looking completely satisfied. Outside the door, Noah held up a large umbrella and walked into the snow. Lucas followed Mr. Noah in confusion. It was normal for Mr. Noah not to stay with the crew after lunch. He couldn't just stand there and watch others eat, could he? However, what was the meaning of him walking around the school with an umbrella on a snowy day? Noticing Lucas's confusion, Noah suddenly asked, "What do you think of the scenery in No. 17 Middle School?" Lucas quickly replied, "Among all the middle schools in Rongqing, No. 17 Middle School ranks among the top 3 in terms of greenery, especially the snow scenery in winter, which even many universities can't compare with. So are you taking a walk in the snow and enjoying the scenery?" Lucas didn't dare to ask further. Noah stopped in front of a lake and looked into the distance. The environment of No. 17 Middle School was really good. There was a large artificial lake on campus. In winter, the lake surface was covered with a thick layer of ice. Goose, feather, like snowflakes were falling one after another, and the trees beside the lake were also completely covered with snow. Everywhere he looked was white, as if he was in a fairy tale world. If the camera shot from the air, this scene would definitely be very beautiful, up to the standard of a snow scenery promotional video. However, the winter vacation was only in February. School would start on March 1st. Once school started, it would affect the student studies if the crew came to shoot on campus. The school authorities definitely wouldn't agree. If they wanted to finish shooting during the vacation, the time would be quite tight, but if they rushed the progress, it would still be possible. Noah frowned and thought for a moment. Then he took out his phone, shot a video of the surrounding area, and sent it to director Mateo, who he had just added as a friend. "Mateo, there are many stories in the novel Folding Paper that take place in winter. This is the snow scenery in No. 17 Middle School. What do you think of the effect if we shoot on location here? Mateo didn't expect that just after signing the contract at noon, the producer would go to inspect the shooting location in the afternoon. Was this Noah a workaholic? He curiously clicked on the video and took a look, then immediately replied at high speed. It's so beautiful. Compared with the fake snow scenery made of foam, shooting on location is definitely countless times better. But no, 17 Middle School is a key middle school. Will the principal agree to let us shoot a drama in the school? Noah said, I'll solve this problem. After sending this message, he sent another paragraph. We have to hurry up. Later, ask Mason to write a plot summary and episode outline and send it for filing as soon as possible. We'll finalize the actors this month and start shooting after the spring festival. Is there any problem with the time on your side, Mateo? Mateo and Mason were waiting for their flight in the airport lounge. They had flown here from another place specifically to have a face-to-face talk with Mr. Noah yesterday and had booked tickets to go home today. He showed the phone to his friend. Mason couldn't help widening his eyes. Start shooting after the spring festival? So urgent. Mateo said seriously, just tell me if you can finish it within 3 days. It's for filing with the General Administration of Radio, Film and Television, not the final script. Writing a plot outline shouldn't be very difficult for you, right? Mason gritted his teeth. Of course I can if I work overtime, Mateo replied. Mr. Noah, Evelyn and I have no problem, but isn't it too tight to start shooting during the spring festival? Noah said, if we miss this vacation, it will be very difficult for us to borrow the venue once school starts. Mateo agreed, you're right. Then Evelyn and I will work overtime these days to rush out the plot summary first. We can carefully polish the script while selecting the actors. Noah said, I plan to use a drone to shoot from the air. Taking advantage of the frequent snowfall in Rongqing recently, we'll finish shooting all the winter parts in the script. Then, the whole crew will fly to Yaoi City to shoot the summer parts. There are green trees and flowers everywhere in the south now, so shooting summer scenes won't be out of place. Mateo and Mason glanced at each other. That means all the outdoor scenes of this drama will be filmed on location. Previously, the low-budget online dramas Mateo filmed were all shot in a studio. All the beautiful sceneries were actually just painted on a canvas. The protagonists acted in front of a green screen. To be honest, even after post-production, they still looked shoddy and cheap. Filming on location is of course good, but it's also expensive. Flying the entire crew to Yaoi City, the costs for food, accommodation, and transportation all cost money. There will also be additional fees for borrowing public venues, and hiring extras is also a significant expense. Isn't this beyond the standard of an ordinary online drama? Mateo couldn't help but say. Then the funds. Noah said, Skytree will contribute 10 million yuan, and I'll secure at least 5 million yuan in additional investments. The costs for promotion, costumes, props, and makeup for this drama can be saved. The pay for new actors isn't high either. Spending 80% of the money on filming should be enough, right? Mateo was so excited that he almost dropped his phone. Enough. More than enough. Investing 15 million yuan in a youth campus online drama, with 80% spent on filming. This isn't just enough. It's more than sufficient. If others can make a drama with 5 million yuan, there's no reason they can't do a good job with 15 million yuan. Noah said, I'll have to trouble you to work overtime these days. Contact me anytime if there are any problems. Mateo was full of fighting spirit. Yes, Mr. Noah, the two of us will go back and pack our bags right away. Then we'll go to Rongqing to work on the script in seclusion. After ending the conversation, Noah turned around and walked in the other direction. He wanted to further inspect the environment of No. 17 Middle School. At the previous SKYTRE meeting, he told the shareholders that for each group, the group leader could directly decide on investments under 10 million yuan. Once the investment exceeded 10 million yuan, it had to be discussed at the company meeting. There's actually a lot of strategy in this statement. Just because the group leader's investment doesn't exceed 10 million yuan doesn't mean the investment for a drama has to be limited to 10 million yuan. Because the group leader can also secure investments from outside sources. With Noah's connections, It's not difficult for him to get a few million yuan in investment from his rich second-generation friends. Moreover, there are still areas like advertisers and sponsors that he hasn't tapped into. Once he opens up these channels, in the future, he won't need the approval of other company executives for whatever drama he wants to make. And once the drama he invests in becomes a hit, will he still have to worry about money? It's estimated that a whole bunch of sponsors will be vying to invest in his projects. Lucas finally understood why Mr. Noah was strolling around the school with an umbrella. He came to know 17 Middle School not only to visit the crew but also to conduct an on-site inspection of the filming locations for the next campus drama. It's a two-pronged approach with a well-thought-out plan. No wonder he's so efficient. At this moment, inside the office, Oliver had finished his lunch. The set meal had 5 dishes, but the portions were small yet high quality. Besides, an 18-year-old boy is in the stage of physical development. He finished all the dishes and the fruit, leaving only the bag of dried fruits and the milk tea unopened. Oliver quickly cleaned up the lunchbox and got up to take the trash out. His assistant Mia took the trash bag from him and poured the milk tea into a thermos for him. She smiled and said, "Come to me whenever you want to have some milk tea this afternoon. Drink it hot." Oliver thanked him and went out to get some fresh air. As soon as he stepped out of the door, he saw Mr. Noah in the distance. Noah was wearing a long overcoat and holding a large black umbrella. He had a straight figure and walked with a calm pace. The handsome man was slowly walking towards him through the heavy snow. From afar, he looked like a thickly colored Chinese ink painting, full of the desolation and coldness of winter. Oliver stared blankly into the distance and couldn't take his eyes off for a moment. A cold wind mixed with snowflakes blew towards him. Oliver suddenly remembered that snowy night when he was in a mess. It was also snowing heavily when Noah sent him home. Noah was worried that he would catch a cold and gave him a down jacket. The warmth of the thick clothes on his body seemed to have always remained in his heart. Sometimes he couldn't help but think, if it had been another alpha that night, and the alpha had forcibly marked him, what would he have done? Or, if the other person had looked at him with contempt, regarded him as a scheming omega who got ahead by relying on the boss, and told him to get out of SKYTRE, how would he have faced himself? But none of these things happened. Noah handled the matter in the gentlest way and didn't leave any shadow on Oliver. It was like an elder brother forgiving a child's careless mistake tolerantly and never mentioning it again. He really gave Oliver enough face and dignity. Mr. Noah seems cold-hearted, but actually he is a very gentle person. When Oliver thought of this, Noah had already walked up to him. The young man was in a daze. Align Oliver's favorability towards U+5 flashed through Noah's mind. Has the little seedling grown another inch on its own? Noah asked softly, "What are you thinking about?" Oliver came back to his senses. There was no one around. His cheeks flushed slightly. He whispered in a volume that only they could hear, "I was thinking about how to return the down jacket you lent me. Should I just send it to you by express?" Noah nodded. "Okay, I'll send you the address on WeChat. You can send it to me some other day." Both of them deliberately lowered their voices, as if they were talking about a secret that only they knew. The down jacket and the night they slept in the same bed were indeed a secret that only they knew. This feeling of whispering made Oliver's heart beat like a drum all of a sudden. He quickly changed the topic. "Where have you been, Mr. Noah?" Noah said, "I inspected the environment of No. 17 Middle School. It's quite suitable for shooting snow scenes here." Shooting snow scenes? The campus drama that Mr. Noah said he wanted to invest in before has a lot of winter snow scenes in it. Could it be that besides visiting the set today, Mr. Noah is also here to scout the shooting locations? Noah saw through Oliver's thoughts and nodded, saying, "It's that campus drama. How are you preparing for it?" Oliver immediately became serious and obediently replied like answering a teacher's question. "I went back and read the original novel once. I also want to read it at least 3 more times to carefully study the protagonist's character and psychological changes." The original novel? Noah slightly raised his eyebrows. "Yes, I went to the bookstore and bought the book myself." Oliver smiled shyly. "I always felt that just looking at the outline and character profiles wasn't comprehensive enough. After reading the original novel, I have a deeper understanding of several characters in the book." Noah was very pleased to hear what Oliver said. He originally thought that Oliver would be like most artists and only look at the materials given by the agent. He didn't expect this young fellow to be quite smart and go by the original novel and read the whole thing himself. Although this original novel was selected by Noah based on Oliver's characteristics, without any accidents, Oliver would definitely be selected as the protagonist. However, it's completely different to just give him the cake that's already made and let him enjoy it, compared to letting him work hard and get the cake by himself. Noah doesn't want to just throw resources at Oliver. He hopes that Oliver can enjoy the process of working hard by himself, achieving success, and steadily climbing to the peak step by step. This process is the most important. Every time they talk about work, Oliver is very serious. He really appreciates this hard-working and serious young man. Looking into the young man's clear eyes, Noah said gently, "Opportunities are only for those who are prepared. Go back and study hard. The audition time should be set soon." Oliver nodded vigorously. "Yes, thank you, Mr. Noah." Just then, Isabella happened to come out. Seeing Mr. Noah and Oliver chatting, she couldn't help joking, "Mr. Noah, are you here to visit me on the set? Why are you chatting non-stop with our little Oliver?" Noah didn't take her joking words. He calmly said, "Ijuan, besides visiting the set today, I actually have something to ask you for help with." Isabella looked surprised. "What kind of help?" "You were able to borrow the venue of No. 17 Middle School to shoot an MV. You have a good relationship with the principal, right?" "Yes, I graduated from No. 17 Middle School. The current principal was my class teacher back then." Isabella looked at Noah curiously. "Why, does Mr. Noah have something to do with our principal?" Noah nodded. "Please tell the principal later that I have a campus drama that I also want to shoot at No. 17 Middle School. Besides filming locations, we also need a large number of extras. If possible, I hope the principal can cooperate with us and find some students of the right age to be extras at that time. I'll discuss the fees with the principal in person. Shooting a TV series at No. 17 Middle School? This is also a kind of promotion for the alma mater." Isabella immediately agreed. "No problem, I'll make an appointment for you to meet later. I also think my alma mater has very beautiful scenery." After finishing talking about this matter, Noah walked into the studio and said goodbye to Jack. "Jack, I still have something to do. I won't disturb you all here," Jack said with a smiling face. "Okay, Mr. Noah, on behalf of the staff, I thank you for your concern." Noah exchanged a few polite words with the crew members. When he reached the door, he looked back at Oliver. The young boy happened to be looking at him too. Their eyes met, and Oliver immediately shyly averted his gaze and politely said, "Goodbye, Mr. Noah." Noah nodded at him and then turned around and walked out of the door. "Goodbye, Oliver. The next time we meet will probably be for the audition. I hope you can give me some surprises." After Noah left, the staff members had eaten and drunk their fill and continued with the afternoon's filming work. Jack had very high requirements. Oliver didn't get a rest the whole afternoon. Fortunately, he learned a lot of knowledge from the filming process, especially the camera sense that Jack mentioned. He never quite understood how to grasp it. It was only after Jack demonstrated it several times in person that Oliver gradually got the hang of it. He learned while filming. Although he was physically exhausted after a whole day, he felt very fulfilled in his heart. After returning to the apartment, Oliver took a shower in the bathroom and then leaned on the bed and started reading the original novel, folding paper. Just as he was reading, a WeChat message suddenly popped up on his phone. It was from Noah. "No. D102, Longhu Villa, Binjiang District, Rongqing City, to be received by Noah. Phone number 1897463XXXX. Just send it to this address." Oliver set a reminder in his phone and specifically saved Noah's address and phone number. Then he typed a reply. "Mr. Noah, the down jacket is at my home. Can I send it to you after I go back?" "Noah, it's not urgent. I don't usually need that piece of clothing. Send it to me when you're free." Oliver replied with a, "Okay." He put down his phone and walked to the window. He found that the lights in the office on the 33rd floor of the SKYTRE group diagonally opposite were still on. That was Mr. Noah's office. Mr. Noah was working overtime again today. Was he busy with the campus drama? Mr. Noah attached so much importance to this drama. Oliver thought to himself that, as a nobody, he couldn't even compare to the boss in terms of dedication. So he picked up a pen sat in front of the desk, and while reading the original novel, he marked the key parts and carefully pondered over them, just as seriously as when he took notes in middle school classes. One was working in the office, and the other was reading a book attentively in the artist's apartment. Time gradually passed. The warm-colored lights in the two rooms separated by a street were always on. They didn't disturb each other, but were working hard towards the same goal. Noah was looking up information related to filing and review during his overtime work tonight. The film submission and review system in the ABO world was different from the one in his world. He finally completely understood the process today. Rongqing is the second largest city in this country and has a prosperous economy. However, the administrative center of the whole country is in Xingqing. The institution that manages all TV dramas and movies is also in Xingqing and is called the General Administration of Radio and Television. Every drama needs to be filed at the General Administration before it is approved for filming. There are a lot of materials required for filing, such as the plot outline, episode-by-episode outline, character biographies, the theme of the script, the authorization for film and television adaptation, the list of the main creative staff of the crew, the company's business license, the filming permit, the filing registration form, etc. Noah prepared the materials item by item according to the regulations of the General Administration. The drama he chose is a very innocent campus drama suitable for all ages. The theme is positive. It not only tells the warm emotional story of the two main characters accompanying each other, but also has a lot of descriptions about the traditional origami culture. It should not encounter any problems during the filing process. But just to be on the safe side, Noah decided to go to Xingqing in a few days and personally hand in the materials to the General Administration. On the one hand, he could urge the General Administration to work more efficiently, and on the other hand, he could also get a feel for the situation. Although there are differences between the fictional ABO world and reality, the processes of film and television review and scheduling are quite similar. If Noah doesn't build a good relationship with the General Administration, once the drama is completed, the General Administration may hold up its release date, and Noah won't be able to achieve his goal of using the word of mouth of students during the summer vacation for promotion. Noah quickly tapped on the keyboard and swiftly wrote a complete project plan. Lucas has been accompanying him in working overtime recently. Noah knows that it's tiring to be an assistant to a workaholic like him, so he said, "Xiao Zhang, you've worked hard recently. I'll ask the finance department to raise your salary next month. You'll also accompany me on a business trip these days." Upon hearing the news of a salary raise, Lucas' eyes lit up. He immediately eagerly poured a cup of coffee for Mr. Noah and said, "It's not hard. Where are you going on a business trip, Mr. Noah? I'll book your air tickets in advance." Noah glanced at the project plan, estimated the time, and said, "I'll go to Star City on the 26th and stay there for 3 days. Then I'll fly to Yin on the 29th and stay for 2 days, and come back on the 31st. You can book the air tickets and hotels as you see fit." Lucas quickly noted down the dates and went online to book the tickets. He could roughly guess what Mr. Noah was going to do in these two places. The General Administration of Radio and Television is in Star City, and it's obvious that Mr. Noah wants to go there in person to submit the drama for review. He mentioned Yuan City today, which can be used as a shooting location for the summer part of the campus drama. It's clear that he's going there for an advance inspection. With such a responsible producer, the whole crew has a much easier time. Lucas also finds it easy to work for such a boss. Mr. Noah will clearly list the tasks for his assistant one by one. Lucas doesn't need to guess what the boss is thinking. He just does what the boss tells him to do, so his work efficiency is naturally high. Noah worked overtime until 10 o'clock again today. However, once the project plan is completed, the subsequent work can be carried out as planned, and he won't need to work overtime late at night anymore. After finishing the project plan, Noah walked to the window, rubbed his throbbing temples, and opened the window to get some fresh air. Just then, he noticed that a window in the opposite apartment across the street suddenly opened from the inside. Noah has excellent eyesight and immediately recognized that the person who walked to the window was Oliver. The young man was wearing an orange pajamas and was standing by the window stretching. It seemed that he noticed Noah. His stretching motion paused slightly, Then he put down his arms and gave Noah a shy smile. Noah picked up his phone and sent a message to him. Oliver? Is your apartment exactly on the 33rd floor? Oliver replied, Yes, what a coincidence. I live right across from your office, Mr. Noah. I saw you by the window. Smiling face. Noah said, The heating is too hot. I came to the window to get some fresh air. Oliver said, The heating in the apartment is also very hot. I've been sitting for a long time, so I came to the window to stretch my muscles. So, at the moment he opened the window, he happened to see Oliver. This coincidence made Noah extremely happy, and even the fatigue from several hours of overtime work vanished. The man's lips curved slightly as he sent a voice message, patiently instructing, I'm going on a business trip to other places these days. You should follow Isabella well and shoot the MV. Also, learn some techniques of facing the camera from Jack. You're a newcomer, so be more respectful to the people around you, and they won't make things too difficult for you. Do you understand? Oliver pressed the play button, and the voice that rang in his ear was the low and sexy voice unique to adult alphas, which was especially pleasant in the quiet night. It was clearly a plain statement, but Oliver's heart skipped a beat when he heard it. He inexplicably heard a bit of concern from Mr. Noah's words. Was he overthinking? Oliver drove away the random thoughts in his head, and quickly typed a reply. I know, I'll cooperate with Jack in the shooting. Mr. Noah, don't worry. Have a smooth business trip. Well, I'm off work. Good night. Good night, Mr. Noah. After the conversation ended, Noah turned off the light and went downstairs. Oliver also closed the window, rubbed his sore neck, and then went back to the table to continue reading. The next day was the weekend, and the weather was fine. Oliver got up early in the morning and went to shoot the MV with Isabella's nanny car. They shot 2 interior scenes yesterday, and today's content is all exterior scenes, such as running on the sports field and playing ball on the court. Although the weather was good, it was still winter after all. After shooting this scene, Oliver was so frozen that his hands and feet were numb. Assistant Mia quickly wrapped the down jacket she brought around him and also thoughtfully prepared a hand warmer for him. Emma felt a little sorry for Oliver's hands that were frozen red from playing ball. If it's too cold, I'll talk to Jack and ask him to let you wear an extra sweater inside. Oliver shook his head with a smile. It's okay, this school uniform fits just right. If I wear one more, I'll look bloated in the shot. As an actor, it's very common to wear short-sleeved shirts in winter to shoot summer scenes and wrap in cotton, padded clothes in summer to shoot winter scenes. If he couldn't even bear this kind of hardship, he might as well give up early. The whole crew was waiting for him. What right did he, a newbie, have to delay the progress? Oliver rubbed his hands and then ran back to the set. Jack was very strict. They shot the ball-playing scene 5 times before it passed. Isabella couldn't stand it anymore and couldn't help saying, Jack, that's enough. Don't freeze our Oliver. Jack waved to Oliver. Cold, right? Come and have a cup of hot water. Oliver's cheeks were frozen red, but his smile was very bright when he took the thermos. Sorry, Jack, I didn't perform well just now and delayed everyone. Looking at the young man's smile, the staff all thought that this newbie was really sensible, and their attitudes towards Oliver became much gentler. In the next few days, Oliver kept following the crew to shoot the MV. Noah took Lucas on a business trip. After the two arrived in Star City, they went to the hotel to rest for one night. Early the next morning, Noah took the materials prepared by Mateo and screenwriter Sue and went to the State Administration of Radio and Television in person. Probably no one at the administration expected that the boss of SKYTRE would come in person. As one of the top companies in the entertainment industry, Skytree sent many films for review every year, but this was the first time everyone saw the newly appointed boss. Noah behaved very politely and took the initiative to invite the people at the administration to dinner. He is well versed in the art of interpersonal communication. Back in the real world, there were many things that were not suitable to be discussed openly, and they were often talked about over meals. In addition to filing for the new drama, he also took the opportunity to sound out the higher-ups, such as which themes were strictly regulated and which ones were more lenient in the review process, so as to prepare for future dramas. He also paid a personal visit to a senior official at the general administration. This official, surnamed Chin, was his father's classmate. Although it was Noah's first time meeting him, Uncle Chin, out of respect for Mr. Pei, took good care of Noah, who came to visit in person. He promised to inform Noah in advance of any changes, so as to avoid the situation where a drama of a certain theme was filmed but could not be aired due to being blocked by the higher authorities. After finishing the work in Star City, the two flew to Yaoi City. There were two purposes for going to Yaoi City. One was Mingda Private Middle School, located in the suburbs. Noah had checked online and found that the school had a great environment and was the perfect choice for shooting summer scenes of campus dramas. The other was Shinya Film and Television City, a well-known national film and television base with a large scale, where dramas of various themes such as ancient costumes, police and bandits, and wars could be shot. Conducting on-the-spot inspections at the film and television city was also for future preparations. Oliver wanted to gain a firm foothold in the entertainment industry, so he had to expand his acting range comprehensively. The campus drama was just a trial. If it had good results, Noah would let Oliver try different themes next, and then they could enter the film and television city for shooting. After following Mr. Noah around for several days, Lucas found that Noah was a boss with very clear goals and far-reaching vision. Ordinary people would only subconsciously solve the current problems and simply handle the current affairs. But Noah often accomplished several things in one action and even included problems that he hadn't encountered yet but might occur in the future in his plans. The short-term business trip of just 1 week yielded extremely rich results. Since the original novel of Accidental Mark did not mention any cities other than Banyan City, in addition to handling business, Noah also wanted to have a more comprehensive understanding of this ABO world during this business trip. The day they returned to Banyan City was exactly the end of January. As soon as he got off the plane, he received 3 pieces of good news. The first one was from Isabella. Mr. Noah, the MV has been filmed. Oliver's performance was excellent. We are currently rushing to finish the post-production. There is definitely no problem in launching it on Valentine's Day. Just reporting to you. The second one was from director Mateo. Mr. Noah, Evelyn has written the scripts for the audition and sent them to your email. How's your progress? When shall we announce the audition time? The third one was from Uncle Chin at the General Administration of Radio, Film and Television. Noah, I've had someone rush the review of the filing for your drama, and it has passed. The license number is 202000106. You can check it on the official website of the General Administration. Noah replied casually, Thank you, Uncle Chin. He opened the calendar on his phone. This year, the Spring Festival was on February 10th, and Valentine's Day was on February 14th. There were still 10 days until the Chinese New Year. Noah opened the chat window with Mateo and said firmly, There will be a meeting tomorrow. We'll start the promotion on the 2nd and hold the official audition on the 7th. Mateo was stunned. So soon? Noah leaned back in the back seat, looking calm. The time is a bit tight, but he believes that Oliver has already made preparations. Chapter 20, Chapters 2022. Noah returned to the company in the afternoon and immediately called a small meeting with the people from the publicity department. When the people from the SKYTRE publicity department received the notice of the meeting, their faces didn't look good, because Mr. Noah's order seemed to mean 2 words: working overtime. They had witnessed the scenes where the copyright team and the legal affairs team were extremely busy before. A new official applies strict measures. They didn't know what kind of fire Mr. Noah would set in the publicity department this time. Everyone walked into the conference room with uneasy feelings. However, unexpectedly, this time Noah's meeting was very short, and the tasks he assigned were quite easy. The company has decided to start the project of shooting a web drama based on the novel Folding Paper. The General Administration has already approved the record filing. You should hurry up to write a few press releases later and post them on major websites for publicity. Manager Lou from the publicity department asked, Just post publicity articles on major websites? Do we need to buy headlines or hot searches? Noah said decisively, No need to buy. Try to contact the original author to see if the author is willing to participate in the script adaptation or the audition. It would be best if the author could cooperate with us to forward the news of the crew, so that the fans of the book know about this matter. That's enough. Manager Lou asked, Is this audition a national open selection? or just a formality within a small range. Noah handed him a plan. No open selection. Only 6 important roles will be determined in the audition. Post recruitment notices on major artist websites in the entertainment circle. This drama also needs more than 20 supporting actors. Actors who are interested are welcome to join. The whole meeting ended quickly within 15 minutes. Noah explained the publicity plan clearly and then let everyone get to work according to the plan. The colleagues in the publicity department were a bit confused after the meeting. Although everyone appreciated Mr. Noah's efficient working style, wasn't the publicity investment for this drama a bit too shabby? Not buying hot searches, not asking major film and television bloggers to promote by boasting, and not even hiring online water armies to boost scores? This is almost like posting a press release to tell netizens, "Hello everyone, I'm going to shoot a drama," and then starting to shoot the drama quietly. The people from the publicity department quickly reached a conclusion. Mr. Noah probably doesn't have enough money. The company stipulates that the investment for a group should not exceed 10 million yuan. But 10 million yuan should be more than enough for a web drama, right? Is he reluctant to spend any publicity fees? Mr. Noah obviously wants to invest in a drama to test the waters. Is there really no need to vigorously promote this campus-themed drama that sounds like it will flop? Noah wasn't in a hurry. Aren't there many dramas that went on hot searches for auditions, for starting filming, and for makeup photos every day, but finally flopped miserably? Giving the audience too much expectation, with hot searches flooding the screen every day, and finally the drama turns out to be unsatisfactory, which will only cause a backlash. It's better to seriously shoot the drama, first improve the quality of the drama, and then give everyone a surprise after the well-produced drama is released. As the chief producer, he must make overall plans for the use of all funds and try to spend the money where it matters most. There's no need to invest too much in the early publicity. The so-called publicity is just to tell everyone, "We're going to shoot this drama." That's enough. After arranging the publicity, Noah immediately followed the company's procedures to ask the finance department to allocate funds. The next day, he met with Mateo and Mason again to discuss the following plans in detail. Mateo has his own team. The costume, makeup, and prop designers, as well as the photographers and lighting engineers from the last drama, can be directly called to continue the cooperation. Noah will be the producer in person, and then find some staff members to do odd jobs and run errands. Thus, the crew of this drama can be considered to be formed. Today can be regarded as a meeting for the main creators of this drama. So Mateo asked about everything in detail. Regarding the music aspect, what does Mr. Noah plan to do? Just find a few nice songs and pay the copyright fees. Most low-budget web dramas don't have their own original music. It's more economical to select some suitable songs, pay the copyright fees, and put them at the beginning and end of the drama. Since we're taking the high-quality route, let's go for original music. Noah thought for a moment and then said, "I'll talk to Isabella and ask her to help write a theme song. As for the incidental music in the drama, we can ask a professional music studio to customize it. Original music costs quite a bit of money. The funds saved from the promotion can be used for it. However, will Isabella, such a well-known singer, be willing to write the theme song for a web drama? Writing the theme song for a small web drama starring unknown newcomers. Isn't it a bit beneath her dignity? For the queen of the music industry, Isabella? It's normal for Mateo to have such doubts. Don't worry, I'll convince Isabella. With Mr. Noah's guarantee, Mateo of course no longer doubts. That's great. Isabella can also bring some of her fans. Noah nodded and then said, "It takes time for Skytree's financial appropriation. The investment funds should arrive within half a month. By then, the spring festival will be over. Mateo, you can choose a good day to officially start filming." The funds arriving within half a month is already the fastest speed Mateo has ever experienced. Mateo shook hands with Noah. "Mr. Noah, it's really a pleasure to cooperate with you. I'll go back and call all the crew of the previous drama over to prepare for the start of filming after the spring festival. I hope everything goes smoothly from now on." At this time, Oliver is in a private room at Ronghua Hotel opposite No. 17 Middle School. It took 1 week to finish shooting the MV. Isabella took the initiative to treat all the staff to a meal. She is amiable in private and never puts on the airs of a star. She also takes special care of Oliver. After getting along with each other these days, the two of them have become quite familiar with each other, and their relationship is just like that of an elder sister and a younger brother. Halfway through the meal, Isabella suddenly asked, "By the way, Oliver, do you have a Weibo account?" Oliver took out his phone and showed her his Weibo. "This is my Weibo alt account, but I don't post much usually. I just log in to read some news and gossip." Emma said she would help us register new Weibo accounts and apply for verification uniformly. Hearing this, Emma explained, "This is Mr. Noah's idea. The company will uniformly help the new artists apply for Weibo accounts, and these accounts will be managed by the agents." Isabella was not surprised by this. Let the agent manage the Weibo? Mr. Noah is probably afraid that the new artists will not know where to draw the line and post inappropriate things, which might be dug out and become a stain on their records, right? Emma said, "Yes, after all, there have been such precedents in the industry." Isabella looked at Oliver with a smile. "Tell me when your new Weibo account is approved. I want to be your first follower." Oliver was flattered. "Isabella, don't joke. You have tens of millions of Weibo followers. It's not good for you to suddenly follow me, right?" Isabella waved her hand casually. "It doesn't matter. I'm a signed singer of SKYTRE. It's normal for me to follow the new artists of SKYTRE. In a few days, when the MV is released, the lead actor will definitely attract attention. Then I'll introduce to my fans that this handsome young man in the MV is Oliver, a new artist of our company. It'll be easier for me to mention you if you have a Weibo account." Emma was extremely excited. Isabella's willingness to promote Oliver voluntarily was really a stroke of good luck. She quickly took out her phone and showed Isabella the new Weibo account she had applied for Oliver. Oliver's Weibo account has just been verified. This is it. Oliver's alt account is called Summer Orange, and the content is all the current affairs news and funny jokes he has reposted. The verified new Weibo ID that Emma applied for is just Oliver, with a yellow V verification saying, "Signed artist of SKYTREE Group." The profile picture is a front-facing photo with a bright smile, looking very sunny and handsome. The agent has been busy with the application for the new Weibo account. Oliver hasn't paid attention to it these days. Now when he leans over to take a look, he finds that his Weibo actually has followers. He can't help but ask curiously, "Why does my Weibo have followers? Didn't I just register it?" Emma was also quite confused. She hadn't had time to buy followers for Oliver yet. Where did these real followers come from? She casually clicked on the followers and was greatly startled by the familiar pay, character profile picture, and the straightforward introduction CEO of SKYTREE Group. Oliver's heart skipped a beat too. Mr. Noah. The first person to follow him was actually Mr. Noah. Emma's hands trembled as she clicked into the profile picture with the character pay. She found that Mr. Noah not only followed Oliver but also all the artists in Group C of SKYTRE. She felt a little relieved and said, "Mr. Noah probably followed out of courtesy." Isabella leaned over to look at Emma's phone screen and couldn't help but complain. Mr. Noah secretly followed all the artists. By the way, why did he delete all the posts on his Weibo? I remember he used to post a lot of selfies. After saying that, she looked at the agent beside her and asked, "Sister Wu, you've also seen it, right? Mr. Noah's previous Weibo posts were all photos of him having fun everywhere." Isabella's agent is Gianna, who always has a poker face. Oliver doesn't even dare to talk to this sister. Hearing Isabella's words, she said expressionlessly, "He probably deleted his previous Weibo posts because he thought the things he posted before were too embarrassing." That's true. Noah's previous Weibo posts were all selfies, either having fun by the sea or drinking at clubs, which was very different from Mr. Noah's current image in a suit. Gianna continued, "Don't you notice that he seems to have had a change of soul? He's suddenly become a workaholic recently." Isabella thought for a moment and said, "Now that you mention it, he has really changed a lot. I heard that as soon as he came back from a business trip, he called the publicity team for a meeting. He also gave the legal and copyright teams a hard time recently." Jack also chimed in, "Yeah, people used to say that the new boss of SKYTRE, Noah, was very unreliable, but when he came to visit the set last time, I thought he was quite nice. Is there some misunderstanding in the rumors? Oliver didn't chime in on the discussion about Mr. Noah. Oliver thought that he had never met the previous Noah, so it was hard for him to comment. He only knew that he really liked Mr. Noah, as he was now decisive in handling affairs, serious and responsible, giving people a very reliable and reassuring feeling. Thinking of the eye contact with Mr. Noah, who was working overtime across the street that night, Oliver felt that it was really a blessing for SKYTRE artists to have such a dedicated boss. Just then, Isabella's phone suddenly rang. She glanced at the caller ID, apologized to everyone, and went out to answer the call. When she came back, she whispered a few words to her agent. Emma keenly saw that the caller ID on Isabella's phone was Noah. She guessed it was Mr. Noah's call and thought it might be related to the MV. Not long after, her phone also received a message from Mr. Noah. At 9 a.m. on February 7th, there will be an official audition for the crew of Folding Paper on the 17th floor of SKYTRE building. The script for the audition performance has been sent to your email by Lucas. Notify the artists you're in charge of to get ready. Emma immediately typed a reply. Okay, Mr. Noah, I understand. This meal ended in a hurry. Isabella and her agent Gianna took the nanny car back to the company. Emma also took another car with Oliver back to the company. On the way, Oliver asked Emma softly, Emma, can I log in to that new Weibo account myself, or will you keep managing it? Emma thought for a while and said, of course you can log in to your Weibo account yourself, but remember, don't accidentally like random posts, and don't post anything negative or make any comments on the entertainment industry gossips. From now on, you should be aware that you're a public figure. Think twice before posting on Weibo and don't cause trouble for yourself. Do you understand? Oliver immediately raised his hand and promised. Understood. I won't post randomly. I'll show you the posts before I publish them. He just thought that since Mr. Noah had followed his account, he wanted to log in himself instead of leaving it entirely to Emma. Emma sent the Weibo login name and password to Oliver, and also forwarded the message from Mr. Noah to him. Oliver was stunned for a moment and said, the audition is on February 7th. Is it so soon? Emma took a deep breath, looked at Oliver seriously and said, Mr. Noah is more serious about this drama than I thought. Being in such a hurry for the audition, it's very likely that he wants to start shooting right after the Spring Festival. She paused for a moment and then exhorted, Oliver, go back and make good use of your time to read the materials I gave you. If you can seize this opportunity, your future path will be much smoother. Oliver nodded and said, don't worry, Emma. I've been reading the materials these days. I know exactly how to act when the time comes. Emma patted the young man on the shoulder encouragingly and said, come on. On February 2nd, SKYTRE Group officially announced the news that the filming of Folded Paper had been officially approved. The publicity department created an official Weibo account called Folded Paper Crew, and on this official account, it announced the audition time and location for several important roles, as well as recruitment advertisements for other supporting actors. Early in the morning, Oliver opened his phone to browse Weibo and saw this announcement from the Folded Paper Crew sliding across the homepage. Among them, the most liked one was a repost by the author, Lemongrass. Lemongrass is a rising star author who has emerged in recent years. Her fame is not particularly great, but because the books she writes have a fresh and warm style and she is very good at character psychological portrayal, she also has a group of regular fans. Obviously, the publicity department of SKYTRE contacted the original author, and the author agreed to cooperate with the publicity and reposted the news that Folded Paper was going to be officially filmed. Below this news, there were already several thousand comments. All of them were scolding. Oh my God, my world is collapsing. No one can play my ideal James well. Please don't ruin my James. Produced by SKYTRE, all the dramas they produce are full of cliched and ridiculous plots, with so much heart-wrenching and body-torturing nonsense. It's really enough. How can a drama as refreshing as Origami be filmed? They'll probably add a bunch of inexplicable third parties again. It's disgusting. The publicity says they're looking for new actors. Can new actors play such complex roles well? I definitely don't believe it. Is the author crazy about money? Is she really selling the copyright of this drama? Some of the book fans are really too fierce. Oliver can actually understand how the book fans feel. He also really liked the characters in the original book when he read it. As the saying goes, there are 1,000 Hamlets in 1,000 people's hearts. Everyone has a different image of the protagonist in mind. So, it's very difficult for people to accept the visualization of the beloved paper characters in their hearts. This is also a hurdle that must be faced in novel adaptations. Oliver doesn't think he exactly fits the image of the novel's protagonist, James, but he is confident that he can play this role well. During this period, he has been reading the book every day, at least 5 times. For every scene and every dialogue in the book, he has put himself in James' shoes and seriously thought about how he should express his emotions, and what kind of tone and expression he should use if he were James. Even in his dreams, he became James and experienced James' entire life. He really likes this character, so even if the readers scold him fiercely, he still wants to give it a try. Oliver took a deep breath and opened his Weibo. To his surprise, the number of his Weibo followers had increased by hundreds from just one yesterday. He thought it was the zombie fans Emma bought for him. As a result, there were many private messages in the upper right corner. When he clicked them open, he found that they were all from Isabella's fans. I traced my way here from Isabella. Are you the new young guy signed by SKYTRE? You're so handsome. Isabella's fan here to check in. Isabella followed you. You should have a good relationship with her, right? Come on. Handsome guy, I like your looks. I searched and it seems you haven't acted in any dramas yet. I'm optimistic about you. He finally realized how terrifying the star effect could be today. Isabella just casually followed him, and those crazy fans traced their way to his Weibo. Isabella's following Oliver shows that they have a good relationship. So, Isabella's fans are very polite and gentle towards Oliver. Most of them said that Oliver is good-looking and then said a few words of encouragement. Oliver politely replied to a few private messages. When he opened the homepage, he found that Mr. Noah had also reposted the promotion of folding paper. Remembering what his agent said about not accidentally liking a post, he silently closed his main Weibo account and then followed Mr. Noah and the official Weibo of folding paper web drama, with his small account named Summer Orange. He wondered if no one would notice if he liked posts with his small account. In the next few days, Oliver didn't sleep well. He always frequently dreamed of the protagonist James in the book. James came from a poor family. When he was 10 years old, his parents died in a car accident. He would go to work after school every day to support himself. Although he grew up in such a poor family, there was no trace of poverty and inferiority on him. Even when wearing old clothes that had been washed white, he was calm and confident, sunny and optimistic, and always had a bright smile on his face. He had a younger sister named Harper who was not in good health. Usually, he not only had to work to earn money and take care of his sister but also had to find time to study. Under such difficult conditions, his grades were still among the best in the class and he was often praised by the teacher. It showed how hard-working he was. Because of his handsome appearance and excellent grades, James was very popular among his classmates at school. He had an alpha-like personality and his differentiation was relatively late. He never showed any omega characteristics, so everyone, including himself, thought he was an alpha. In his freshman and sophomore years of high school, many omegas confessed their love to him, but he politely declined them because he simply didn't have time to fall in love. No one expected that James would differentiate into an omega when he was 18 years old in his senior year of high school. The other protagonist in the book, Levi, is a good for-nothing rich second generation. But unlike the alphas in ordinary campus novels, he doesn't often cause trouble for the protagonist. On the first day of school, he was fighting with some hooligans and was helped by the protagonist who passed by. Then he regarded the protagonist as his good brother and protected him everywhere. Levi was very poor at studying and often asked the protagonist to copy homework from him. But the protagonist never let him copy and always insisted on explaining the problems to him. The way they got along was not full of sad and passionate love but rather relaxed and funny. James liked Levi even before he differentiated. After differentiation, this feeling became even stronger. But Levi, that fool, still put his arm around James' shoulder every day and called him good buddy. James had to hide this love secretly in his heart. His family background didn't allow him to be with Levi. On the surface, James was optimistic and always had a smile on his face. But in fact, all the hardships in his life and the unspoken love in his heart were hidden behind his sunny smile. Even when Levi talked to him about that beautiful Omega in the next class, he would smile and agree, saying, "She's really beautiful. She's quite a match for you." Only when he turned around would a trace of loss and dejection float in his eyes. Such a protagonist is really heartbreaking. Of course, the ending of Folding Paper is a happy one. Levi is just slow, not a jerk. Later, he discovered James' secret, fell in love with James, and was even influenced by James' efforts, deciding to work hard and study hard. In the ending of the novel, the two got into the same university, and James gave Levi the paper he folded with his own hands. Paper folding was his favorite game since childhood. Whenever he was upset or sad, James would take out a piece of paper and fold it. Levi unfolded the paper, and there was a wish written in neat handwriting inside. "I want to get into the same university as Levi and always be together in the future." The young man had a bright smile in the sun. Levi looked at such a dazzling him and finally couldn't help but hug him tightly in his arms. In many novels with alphas and omegas as the protagonists, it's either one pulling the other into the grove for a kiss or one pinning the other against the wall for a kiss. Among a large number of campus novels with marking as a gimmick, Lemongrass Folding Paper takes James' experience as the main line and is very pure from beginning to end, focusing on the emotions and growth of the two protagonists. The two didn't have overly intense intimate scenes, but when they finally got together, it made readers smile knowingly. The overall style of the original novel is relaxed and warm. There are some rather sad plots in the middle, but it's not the kind of heart-wrenching tragic love. Instead, it makes people feel a faint bitterness that makes their noses sour and eyes moist. The role of James is very difficult to grasp. He seems sunny and optimistic on the surface, but actually struggles and is restless inside. If he is too sunny, he'll seem heartless. If he struggles too much, he'll seem indecisive. Oliver has been thinking about how to express emotions with eyes and actions for a long time. He dreamed about James for several consecutive days and felt that he seemed to be getting into the role. Just in such a state, February 7th quietly arrived. Oliver got up at 7 in the morning to wash up. After a hasty breakfast, he changed into a clean sweater, wore a white shirt inside, picked up a school uniform that a sponsor gave him when shooting an MV before, put on a down jacket over it, and then came to SKYTRE to wait. There was a huge crowd at the entrance of SKYTRE. A large poster was posted in a prominent position, saying, "Actors participating in the audition for Folding Paper, please take the No. 3 elevator to the 17th floor." Although this audition was not a national casting call, the name SKYTRE Production still attracted many artists and small talent agencies. After all, Skytree is a big tree in the entertainment industry. If one can catch this ride, they might just become famous. The people participating in the audition actually lined up in a long queue. Oliver was startled and quickly went in through the side door to find his agent. Emma was waiting for them on the first floor. After Luca, Sophia, Grayson, and Oliver all arrived, she took the 4 of them to a corner and whispered, "Guys, after you go up, draw lots first. Enter according to the number you draw. I heard from Assistant Zhang that all the main creative staff of the crew are here today, and even the author has come in person." Upon hearing this, the 4 newcomers widened their eyes slightly and felt a little nervous. Emma said rapidly, "The original author doesn't participate in the script adaptation, but will give some suggestions to the director. In the end, it's still up to the director to decide who will play which role. The director of this drama is Matteo. You may not have heard of him. He's not particularly well known, but he has very high requirements for actors. Don't even think about getting in through the back door. You have to have good acting skills to impress him." She glanced at the 4 people in front of her and simply said, "Let's go. Don't be too nervous. Just perform normally." Oliver clenched his fist by his side and obediently followed his agent upstairs. The 17th floor of SKYTRE has been emptied entirely and specially arranged as an audition venue. There are 2 rows of chairs in the outer corridor for people to wait, and there are also several empty offices beside for people to rest. There is a check-in counter and a lottery box at the back door of the audition site. Oliver followed his agent over there. The girl at the lottery place is an assistant in Group C. Seeing them, she smiled and said, Those auditioning for Levi, Harper, and Logan draw from this box. Those auditioning for James, Andrew, and Aiden draw from here. These 6 characters are also the leading characters and important supporting characters throughout the story in folding paper. Luca, brought by Emma, is an alpha. He chose the character Levi in the novel and drew number 10. Sophia chose the character Harper, the sister of the leading character, and drew number 26. Both Grayson and Oliver chose James. The former drew number 67, and Oliver drew number 98, which is very far back. Seeing their numbers, the girl reminded them, numbers 1 to 50 are in the morning, and those after 50 are in the afternoon. Why don't you two go back first and come back this afternoon? Emma also said, Oliver, Grayson, do you want to go back first? Oliver shook his head with a smile and said, no, I'll wait here. I can also memorize the script, by the way. Grayson originally wanted to go back. Hearing this, he also said, then I'll wait for the result here too. All the people on site who received the number plates pinned them to their right chests as required. The audition needs to be completed within 1 day, so the arrangement is very tight. Each person is only given 5 minutes. The staff on site responsible for maintaining order distributed a printed note to everyone, which listed the precautions. 1. Artists participating in the audition should first introduce themselves and inform the crew of the role you are auditioning for. The director may ask you to make various expressions, including smiling, laughing out loud, crying, looking sad, and having a breakdown. Please cooperate with the director's requirements. Select 1 or 2 scenes from the audition script to perform. The director may interrupt you at any time. If you can't bear the psychological blow, you can leave in advance. 2. After hearing the staff call your number, enter through the front door and exit through the back door. Keep the on-site quiet. If you don't respond after being called 3 times, it will be regarded as an automatic withdrawal. 3. The audition results will be announced within 3 days. This note should have been prepared by the people in the publicity department. It has no redundant words and is simple and straightforward. Emma called the 4 people to an empty office. Don't think too much. After you go in, first introduce yourself and then follow the director's instructions. Although Mateo has strict requirements for acting skills and is quite serious, Mr. Noah is present. He will always give some face to the artists of SKYTRE. Even if you don't perform well, he won't embarrass you in public. Oliver immediately grasped the key point. Is Mr. Noah also here today? Emma glanced at him and nodded, saying, Mr. Noah is the producer and general supervisor of this drama. Oliver suddenly felt extremely at ease in his heart with Mr. Noah personally overseeing. There definitely wouldn't be any problems with this drama. Grayson couldn't help but ask, with Mr. Noah personally in charge, the chances of our SKYTRE artists being selected should be relatively high, right? Emma frowned slightly. Theoretically, that's right, but it's not necessarily so. After all, the original author and the director are both here. Since Mr. Noah has said it's a fair competition, he can't force SKYTRE artists on Mateo. I heard from the staff at the sign-in desk that there are several well-known stars here today. Especially for the roles of James and Levi, the competition is extremely fierce. She also couldn't figure out why these well-known stars would come to join in the fun. Did these stars think that as long as it's a SKYTRE production, it's bound to be a hit, so they came to ride on the coattails of the popularity? Regardless of the reason, the intensity of the competition in this audition exceeded everyone's expectations. Emma was very nervous inside, but on the surface, she still put on the calmness of an agent and looked at Oliver and Grayson. Have you heard of William? Oliver searched his mind for this name and quickly remembered. Is he the male lead of that popular art house movie, The Fleeting Time in the first half of the year? He's an Omega, right? Emma nodded. That's right. He's 20 years old this year and is one of the fastest rising Omega actors in the entertainment industry in recent years. He's also here for the audition today, and the role he's competing for is also the lead, James. Oliver's heart skipped a beat slightly. Such a strong competitor was completely unexpected to him. Initially, Mr. Noah said that this drama was invested by Group C, and it would be best to let Skytree's newbies play the roles. But after all, it's not an internally decided drama. Once the audition news was released, Mr. Noah couldn't stop others from coming. The other party was experienced and had a good following, while he was just an unknown who had only filmed an MV that hadn't been released yet. Who would the director choose? Oliver wasn't sure. The only thing he was confident about was that the effort and energy he had put into this drama were definitely far more than what William had. His understanding of the character James was also definitely much deeper than that of William, who had just picked up the script and come for the audition. These days, he always dreamed of James. James seemed to have stepped out of the book and into his heart. He really wanted to play this character himself. Grayson didn't have as much confidence. He scratched his head and said with a smile, "Is the competition for the role of James that fierce? How about I go for the role of James' childhood friend?" Emma thought for a moment and nodded, saying, "It's still not too late to change the role now. Newbies don't necessarily have to play the lead. Having a chance to show their faces and honing their acting skills by playing a supporting role is also good." She looked at Oliver. "What about you, Oliver?" Oliver looked determined. "I'll still audition for James. I've also prepared his script." At exactly 9 o'clock, the audition officially began. Everyone who walked into the audition venue was startled. Apart from the spacious open area for the actors to perform, there were 5 people sitting neatly on the other side: producer Noah, director Mateo, screenwriter Mason, original author Lemongrass, an assistant and on-site host Lucas. In addition to the 5 of them, there were also several people on the side, including the lighting technician, the cameraman, the sound engineer, and the script supervisor. There were actually double-track cameras set up, with 2 camera positions shooting simultaneously. There was also a monitor screen standing in front of the director and Mr. Noah. "Is this an audition? This is a filming site, isn't it? Most auditions in the industry are like job interviews in a company. Artists perform some segments on site. It's extremely rare to have cameras set up directly like today, and even the lighting and sound equipment are all prepared." Some newbies who haven't seen big-scale scenes were shocked by such a formal audition, especially Noah sitting in the first place, with a serious look and cold eyes. Many newbies couldn't help trembling when they saw him, and were so confused that they didn't know how to act. Mateo was also very serious. Some people were kicked out by him after only performing for 1 minute. The artists waiting outside became even more nervous when they saw those who came out within just a few seconds after going in. The whole audition site was shrouded in a depressing atmosphere. People coming out of the audition room all had terrible looks on their faces. Some even privately complained, "It's just a lousy web series. Why make it so formal?" Oliver closed his eyes and recited the script in his mind. He was also a bit nervous, but after hearing that the audition site was so formal, he more truly felt Mr. Noah's emphasis on this drama. He also wanted to perform well in front of Mr. Noah and the director. The nervousness gradually turned into motivation. Oliver clenched his fists and recited the lines of the audition script word for word several times. Soon it was the turn of No. 10 Luca. He was going to audition for the alpha protagonist Levi. After all, he had acted in several web series, so he was much calmer than most newbies. Emma personally let him in. She originally wanted to stay and watch his performance, but Noah said indifferently, the agent should go out and leave the site to the artist. Emma had no choice but to slink out. A moment later, Luca came out. She quickly stepped forward and asked, "How was it?" Luca frowned and said, "I don't know. They told me to go back and wait for the notice." The words, "wait for the notice," are really torturous. Grayson came over and asked, "What did Mr. Noah say?" Luca forced a bitter smile and said, "He just sat there like a statue, extremely serious. He had a cold look from beginning to end. I didn't even dare to look into his eyes. After I finished performing, he only said, 'Go back and wait for the notice.'" Waiting for the notice. It feels like a person being taken to the execution ground, waiting to see if the executioner's knife will fall on his neck. Oliver could imagine how imposing Mr. Noah was. Sophia soon went in too. When she came out, her face was expressionless. The result was the same. "They told me to go back and wait for the notice." Emma helplessly put her hand on her forehead. The morning auditions ended soon. Oliver saw many handsome alphas, all here to compete for the role of Levi. In the afternoon, the atmosphere at the site suddenly changed. There were many beautiful, cute, and sunny omegas in the corridor, because the roles being auditioned for in the afternoon James and the comedic character Andrew in the drama were all omegas. Of course, there are also some betas who come to try their luck. The entertainment industry doesn't stipulate that only omegas can play omega roles. As long as the appearance is suitable and the acting is convincing, there won't be any scolding if an omega plays an alpha. Instead, people will think that actors who can play cross-gender roles are very talented. Oliver was sitting in the corridor waiting. I don't know how long it had passed when the assistant girl suddenly shouted, "Number 97. A boy wearing a light blue sweater walked over from the corner. He was nearly 1.8 meters tall, with a lean and well-proportioned figure. He wore a pair of sunglasses covering half of his face. After hearing his number called, he took off his sunglasses and walked towards the audition room. Oliver immediately recognized him as the very popular Omega star this year, William. Up close, he was really good looking. His skin was so white that it was blinding. His peach blossom eyes were full of charm, looking gentle and tender. People couldn't help but want to get close to him and protect him. Even Oliver, who was also an Omega, thought he had great charm. Seemingly aware of the gaze beside him, William turned his head slightly and met a pair of clear eyes. He politely smiled at Amelia. Although the other party was a huge competitor to him, Oliver thought that auditions were all about fair competition and relying on one's own abilities. He was a newcomer, while William had been in the industry for several years. If he really couldn't compete with him, it was just because he was not good enough. He couldn't blame others for vying for the role. William also smiled at Oliver. Maybe because they were both Omegas, the atmosphere wasn't as tense as that among the Alphas in the morning. But the smile was just a formality. There could only be one actor for the role of James. Naturally, everyone would do their best to fight for it. Inside the room, after watching a whole day of chaotic performances, Mateo's head was about to explode. He couldn't help but complain. Just now, that guy actually turned his butt towards the camera while acting. His line delivery skills were also poor. When he forgot his lines, he looked so aggrieved. I didn't even have the heart to scold him for fear of making him cry. It wasn't until Lucas said, "Next, number 97, William. The role he's auditioning for is also James." Mateo's eyes suddenly lit up. William? This guy has good acting skills. Does Mr. Noah know him? He was the lead in the literary film, The Fleeting Time, in the first half of the year. However, his temperament is more on the literary side. Isn't it a bit inconsistent with the image of James in the novel? Noah said calmly, I know him. A good actor won't let his image become stereotyped. He came to audition for the role of James, probably wanting to expand his acting range, change the audience's fixed impression of him, and challenge his own acting skills. Mateo nodded. You're right, let's take a good look then. Noah turned to Lucas and asked, Who's next after this? Lucas said softly, Number 98, Oliver. Oliver, what bad luck you have. Not only did you draw the last number in the afternoon session, but you're also up against the strongest competitor, William, one after another. Where's your protagonist's halo? Noah gently massaged his temples. He wasn't worried that Oliver would be nervous. However, if William performed extremely well and Oliver followed right after, even if he performed okay, he would be overshadowed immediately. After all, Oliver was a newcomer with no acting experience. If he didn't perform well, it would be difficult to impress Mateo, the strict, demanding director. Fortunately, the author is also present. Noah thinks that the James in the mind of the original author should be closer to the James understood by Oliver. After all, Oliver has been holding the original work and reading it many times these days, while William definitely doesn't have that much time to figure out the role of James. Opportunities are only for those who are prepared. Noah sat up straight and scanned the front door with his eyes. Chapter 21. Chapters 23, 24. William has never appeared in the original work. The reason why Noah knows him is that when he was binge-watching a lot of dramas some time ago, he accidentally glanced at a movie, The Fleeting Time, with a rating of over 9 points on Tao Drama Network. He clicked on it and noticed this person. As Mateo said, William really has good acting skills. The character he played in the movie, The Fleeting Time, has a tragic life experience and there are a lot of crying scenes. William acts the crying scenes extremely well. Whether it's silent tears or a breakdown in sobs, he can instantly drive the emotions of the audience. He cries beautifully, and the teardrops under the camera will make people can't help but feel sorry for him. Being able to act the crying scenes well, He is already an actor with very strong talent. Judging from Noah's ability to judge people, this William will have a bright future. Since William is not a signed artist of SKYTRE, Noah doesn't care about his future development. Unexpectedly, he actually came to audition for the role of James. The front door was pushed open, and William strode in. His agent didn't follow him, obviously having full confidence in him. Good-looking Omegas seem to have a natural aura wherever they go. The strong lights in the room made his skin look dazzlingly white. He didn't wear makeup today, and he still looked delicate and beautiful with his natural face. People who can act well in movies can definitely stand the high-definition camera of the photographer. He strode to the middle of the venue and politely greeted everyone. Mr. Noah, Mateo, Mason, Teacher Lemon, and all the staff, good afternoon. My name is William, and I'm here today to audition for the role of James. Noah noticed that the people around, including the director, the screenwriter, and even the original author, all brightened up when they saw him. Compared with those newbies who were so nervous that they were shaking just now, William behaved gracefully and made a good first impression. Mateo immediately sat up straight and seriously said, William, I've watched your plays. You acted the crying scenes in The Fleeting Time very well. But the protagonist in Folding Paper doesn't need crying scenes. Instead, he smiles every day. Why do you want to try this role? William looked calm. As Mateo said, because of acting in The Fleeting Time, the impression I left on the audience is that of a melancholy and sentimental Omega who loves to shed tears. So this time, I want to try to make a transformation and play a more sunny character. Mateo nodded appreciatively. Okay, which scene of the play have you prepared? Let's start. William said. Scene 37. The requirements for the audition were released on major entertainment forums long ago, so the actors who came to the audition today would read the script in advance. Since the final script hasn't been revised yet, the audition script released by the screenwriter Mason is just the general plot. The actors are asked to give free play to the details so as to see how well the actors understand the characters. William adjusted his expression and quickly got into the character. Scene 37. The hospital. James, who always thought he was an alpha, has been having frequent fevers recently for some unknown reason. Since he has to go to work after school every day and the high school courses are heavy, his schedule is very tight and he has no time to go to the hospital. He only bought some antipyretics to take. One night, when he returned home, he suddenly fainted and was sent to the hospital by his sister, Harper. The doctor found that the pheromones in his body were abnormal and detected a trace amount of omega pheromones in his blood, confirming that he had transformed into an omega. Please improvise based on this scene. Judging from the description, there should be 3 people in this scene: the doctor, the sister, and the protagonist, James. But there was no one on site to act opposite him, so he had to perform a one-man show by himself. Since many actors auditioning for James chose this scene, a rectangular table was placed on site to temporarily serve as a hospital bed. Some actors with poor comprehension couldn't even figure this out. How could a patient who fainted and was sent to the hospital act while standing? Mateo was simply speechless. When William saw the table, he quickly understood and immediately lay on it, closing his eyes. A moment later, he woke up suddenly as if from a nightmare, sitting up straight like a carp leaping out of water. He frowned and pressed his temples hard, obviously in great pain. Then he looked around, and his eyes gradually regained clarity. When he realized he was in the hospital, he subconsciously called out, "Harper, what's wrong with me?" The voice coming from the sound recording device was clear and pleasant. William waited for about 8 seconds. After the time for his sister Harper's lines had passed, he forced a calm smile and said, "I'm fine. Maybe I've been too tired recently and have low blood sugar. I fainted because I didn't eat. You don't have to worry." This smile was completely different from the image of an omega in tears that everyone had in mind. The gentle smile when facing his sister instantly showed James' strength as an older brother in front of his sister. William rubbed his head and wanted to get out of bed. At this time, the doctor should have pushed the door open. He shifted his gaze to the door, as if he really saw a doctor there, and politely asked, "Doctor, when can I be discharged from the hospital?" The doctor would explain that omega pheromones had been detected in his blood. William waited for a few seconds and then slightly widened his eyes. Omega pheromones? How is that possible? I've always been an alpha, the doctor continued to explain. William listened attentively, his eyes getting wider and wider. He took the test report from the doctor in disbelief and read it line by line. After seeing the line of data about omega pheromones, his eyes fixed on that line of data, and his expression was a bit dazed, as if he was in a dream. He murmured to himself, there really are omega pheromones? Could there be a mistake in this data? After a moment, after listening to the doctor's explanation, he gradually regained his composure and said with a smile, okay, please trouble the doctor to give me a detailed examination again. I have to ask for leave from my homeroom teacher first. After the doctor left the room, he grabbed his hair in annoyance. How could I have transformed into an omega? This must be God playing a joke on me. William jumped off the desk and politely said, Matteo, I finished acting. Matteo looked complicated. In terms of acting skills, William was really good. Especially the transformation of his eyes vividly showed the protagonist's shock, confusion, and finally reluctant acceptance when he heard that he had transformed into an omega. No one was acting opposite him, but he managed to create the illusion that there were three people on the scene. The angles and looks when looking at his sister and the doctor were different. Even though he had nothing in his hand and was acting towards thin air, he made the action of holding a test report and reading it line by line extremely realistic. His line delivery skills were also excellent. He left time for the other characters' lines during the performance. The intonation and volume control when speaking were things that only experienced actors could achieve. Even on-site sound recording wouldn't have many flaws. He had a very nice smile, and his bright smile also matched the sunny and cheerful character design. His performance in this segment was completely different from the Omega in The Fleeting Time, who made people feel so sorry for him when he cried. Such an actor had very high plasticity, but Matteo always felt that something was missing. What was missing? It was as if a student had already done very well on a test paper, but as an examiner, he always felt that someone else could do better. Matteo leaned over to the author, Lemongrass, and whispered, "Teacher, do you think he looks like James?" Lemongrass was an Omega woman in her 30s, with long straight hair, looking gentle and intellectual. Hearing Matteo's question, she leaned over and whispered back, "Among all the actors who auditioned this afternoon, I think William has the most outstanding image and temperament, and the highest recognition. Of course, I'm an amateur in terms of acting skills. You, Matteo, are more professional. What do you think?" She only commented that William was good-looking, and didn't say whether William was suitable for the role of James. Matteo thought for a moment and said, "William, can you try scene 56 again?" William nodded with a smile. Scene 56 was a monologue of the protagonist James, and it was a silent performance, which was extremely difficult. After James, who had already evolved into an Omega, realized that he had developed feelings of love for his good friend Levi, he went home and wrote in his diary in a state of entanglement. The actor could improvise. William borrowed a pen and paper from Lucas and sat at the table to write something. The camera was filming his profile. Matteo watched William's magnified side face on the camera monitor and couldn't help but admire in his heart. He really was blessed by God. With such a face, even sitting there quietly could attract a large number of fans. William looked serious. After writing a few strokes, he seemed to remember something and frowned in deep thought. The young man who had just fallen in love realized that he had fallen for his good friend Levi. He felt a little embarrassed, curved his lips into a smile, and then frowned again in entanglement. In the silent performance, relying only on his expression and eyes, his emotional performance was also very in place. Even Matteo couldn't help but praise, "Not bad, not bad, that's enough." William stood up and bowed politely to everyone. Among all the actors who auditioned this afternoon, William was indeed the most outstanding one so far, but Matteo didn't directly decide on him. One reason was that the audition wasn't over yet. Secondly, he still had to ask the author and Mr. Noah for their opinions when choosing an actor. Matteo looked at Noah, who said indifferently, "Thank you for your wonderful performance. Go back and wait for the notice." William nodded. "Okay. Thank you, teachers, for your hard work." He turned around and left through the back door. People on the scene were used to Mr. Noah's words, "Wait for the notice." After the back door closed, Matteo couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Noah, what do you think of William?" Among the people who auditioned this afternoon, His acting skills are among the best, right? Noah only used one sentence to evaluate. He looks like the character, but lacks the essence. Thinking about it carefully, Mr. Noah's evaluation was really incisive, especially the original author, Lemongrass, always thought that William was quite good-looking. His pleasing image made people can't help but like him. But he wasn't James, not the James she created, although he was also trying to get closer to this sunny and cheerful character design. As Mr. Noah said, he only resembled in appearance. He didn't act out James' kind of liveliness. Noah looked calm. Mateo, don't be in a hurry, let's wait and see. Call the next one. Mateo asked, are there still people auditioning for James? Lucas replied, there's only one last person left, number 98. He's a new artist from SKYTRE, Oliver, Mateo hurriedly said. Call him in quickly. Outside the door, the assistant shouted. No, 98. Oliver immediately got up and walked to the front door, gently pushing it open. Inside the room was indeed, as the people in the morning said, a grand scene. Very shocking. The lights and cameras were all on. The producer, director, screenwriter, and original author were sitting in a row. It would invisibly put a lot of pressure on people. If one didn't have good enough psychological quality, they might panic when exposed to the glaring lights. But Oliver had worked so hard for so long. It wasn't his style to get stage frightened at the last minute. He took a deep breath to calm himself down, walked gracefully towards the middle open space, and bowed in the direction of the 5 people. Good afternoon, Mr. Noah, Mateo, screenwriter-teacher, author-teacher, and all the staff. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to audition for the role of James. Here is my information. He handed the information prepared by his agent to director Mateo with both hands. The information included his educational background, height, weight, hobbies, etc. Mateo saw Oliver for the first time. Oliver in front of him was completely different in style from William just now. William had a delicate and beautiful face, and people would be amazed by his temperament at first sight. Oliver, on the other hand, was of the sunny and handsome type. There were no obvious omega characteristics on him. His eyes were clear and bright, and there were no flaws on his face under the high-powered lens. He was just like the cute boy next door. In terms of looks, the two of them could be said to be on par. Mateo asked, are you a new artist? Have you had any previous works? Mateo, I just signed a contract this year. I've only shot one MV so far, and it hasn't been aired yet. I don't have any experience in acting in film and television works. Although he had no experience, he didn't look guilty when saying this. His expression was very calm. Mateo frowned, thinking that it would be very difficult to bring along a completely new artist. A new artist with high comprehension ability could learn after being taught, but if the comprehension ability was poor, frequent NG during filming would delay the progress of the whole crew. However, Oliver was good-looking, and since he was an artist from SKYTRE and Mr. Noah was sitting beside him, Mateo had to give Mr. Noah some face anyway. Thinking of this, Mateo immediately said, it doesn't matter if you're a newcomer. Don't be nervous. Our crew welcomes newcomers. Seeing that Oliver was holding a bag in his hand, he couldn't help asking curiously, what's that in your hand? Did you bring your own props? Oliver said seriously, yes, Mateo. I'm going to change my clothes. He took out the clothes from the bag and quickly put them on. It was a blue and white high school uniform, a white sweater and a blue school uniform. With this outfit, Oliver looked just like a student who had just finished school and rushed to the filming set from campus. The expressions of everyone on the scene changed simultaneously. Noah gently lifted the corner of his lips, and his gaze towards Oliver was incredibly gentle. A total of 33 actors came to audition for the role of James this afternoon. Only Oliver brought a school uniform. They probably forgot that James' real identity is a high school student. Although bringing appropriate clothing is not a mandatory requirement for an actor's audition, clothes make the man. When playing a high school student, wearing a school uniform shows your attitude towards the role. The school uniform Oliver was wearing was given to him by the sponsor after he finished filming a music video a few days ago. Although it wasn't washed until it turned white, as described in the original work, he thought that wearing the school uniform would make his performance more immersive. After all, James' family is very poor and he doesn't have many decent clothes, so he almost wears the school uniform every day. Matteo's gaze immediately became much softer when he saw the young man in the school uniform. Even if he acts badly, at least his attitude is serious enough. Such a hard-working newcomer gives a much better impression than those who are nervous, forget their lines, and tremble in a panic. Matteo said gently, "Which scenes are you going to perform?" Oliver replied, "Scenes 37 and 56. Matteo exchanged a look with the screenwriter beside him. It happened to be the same scenes as Williams just now, but it's okay. A direct comparison can better show who is more suitable for the role of James." Matteo nodded and said, "Okay, adjust yourself and start." Noah was sitting on the far left. Oliver accidentally glanced at him and happened to meet Noah's eyes. To Oliver's surprise, Noah wasn't as cold, serious, and intimidating as everyone described. Instead, he gently nodded at Oliver with a gentle look, as if encouraging him. Oliver took a deep breath and quickly got into the state. He lay down on the nearby desk and closed his eyes. After a moment, he was awakened by a nightmare and suddenly sat up straight. He clenched his fists and knocked on his head hard, feeling a buzzing headache. After knocking for a while, he came to his senses, looked around in confusion, and when he realized he was in the hospital, he immediately asked, "Harper, why am I here? Harper? Brother, you fainted last night. I brought you to the hospital." Oliver was stunned for a moment, then immediately showed a nonchalant and relaxed expression. He waved hands at his sister handsomely and said, "It must be because I didn't have dinner. You don't have to make a fuss. I'm in good health." Just then, the doctor pushed the door open and came in. Oliver immediately sat up straight and smiled brightly, saying, "Doctor, can I be discharged from the hospital?" The doctor seriously told him about the pheromone. Oliver's eyes gradually widened, and then he suddenly burst into laughter, saying, "You must have made a mistake. How could there be omega pheromone detected in my body? Is there something wrong with your detector? Or is there another person named James next door, and you got the results mixed up?" The doctor handed the examination report to him. Oliver quickly reached out his hand, as if he had taken a piece of paper from the air. Then he stared at it carefully, using the index finger of his left hand to compare the data column line by line. After seeing his ID number and pheromone data clearly, he finally believed the result. He scratched his head in confusion and murmured to himself, "Differentiating at 18? Is this even possible?" He handed the examination result to his sister and touched the position of the gland on the back of his neck with his right hand, saying, "So, there's already an omega gland on the back of my neck? And I'll have to go through the heat period in the future? Damn it, it's so troublesome. Doctor, can this thing be removed?" The original author, watching from the audience, almost burst into laughter. Yes, this is exactly the plot in the original novel. James is a very lovely person with an extremely optimistic attitude. After knowing that he is an omega, he is not like ordinary omegas who are either excited or sad. He just thinks, it's so troublesome. The heat period and all that would just get in the way of his work and making money to support his sister. The doctor was also shocked by his crazy words and quickly said, "The gland is an important organ in an omega's body that secretes pheromones. If it is removed casually, it will affect your endocrine system and even your lifespan." Oliver looked at the doctor suspiciously from head to toe. Finally, he believed the doctor's explanation. He scratched his hair irritably and said, "Can't remove it? All right, then please prescribe me some inhibitors. I have to go home and review. I have an exam tomorrow." As he said this, he started to pull at the infusion set on the back of his hand and got out of bed. His sister Harper quickly pushed him back onto the bed. Oliver looked up slightly and smiled gently at his sister, saying, "Harper, don't worry blindly. It's not a big deal. Just because I've differentiated into an omega doesn't mean I'm not your brother anymore. Look, I still look the same as before on the outside. Who would know there's an omega gland in my body if they don't cut me open?" Under the strict demands of the doctor and his sister, Oliver reluctantly sat back on the hospital bed and said, "But I have an exam tomorrow." All right, I'll listen to you. Can I call my homeroom teacher to ask for a leave?" After saying that, he took out the phone from his pocket and said to his homeroom teacher with a big smile, "Teacher, this is James. Well, I have a high fever and have to stay in the hospital for a day. I'd like to ask for a leave tomorrow." "Thank you, teacher. I'll make up the leave note later." Then he looked at the doctor seriously and said, "Doctor, please give me the examination result as soon as possible, and also prescribe me a few more boxes of inhibitors." "Thank you." After a moment, he said again, "Harper, go and have a meal, and bring me a fast food meal back by the way." The doctor and his sister left the room one after another, and the ward became quiet. The smile on the young man's face gradually disappeared, and an extremely complex emotion welled up in his eyes: confusion, disbelief, as well as the panic and bewilderment of suddenly differentiating into an omega. Although James pretended to be relaxed in front of others, he actually didn't want to accept this fact deep down. Finally, Oliver let out a soft sigh, and a relieved smile appeared on his lips. He said to himself, "An omega it is then. If I don't tell them, life will still go on as usual. It's just a bit troublesome to take inhibitors." As if he had finally figured it out, he lay down on the hospital bed with a big smile. At the scene, Mateo was so excited that he clenched his fists tightly. He now knew why he felt something was off when watching William's performance just now: liveliness. William simply failed to portray that kind of lively and vivid quality that James had. From every movement, every look in the eyes, to every line of dialogue, what William portrayed was just a sunny and cheerful James. However, what Oliver portrayed was a living James who stepped out of the book. Mateo looked at the smiling teenager lying on the hospital bed, and was so excited that he even forgot to call a stop. It was Noah who nodded appreciatively and said in a low voice, "Not bad." Next scene. Oliver quickly got up from the hospital bed, bowed to everyone, and said seriously, "Next is scene 56, the scene where James writes a diary." In the prop bag he carried with him, there was not only a school uniform, but also a diary, a pen, and a high school math test paper. Oliver sat down on the chair in front of the desk and spread out the diary. He picked up the pen and wrote a few words. Suddenly, as if he thought of something, he frowned and scribbled out what he had written, then turned a page and started writing again. After scribbling on several consecutive pages like this, he sighed and reluctantly put down the pen. First, the young man propped one of his arms on the table, resting his head on his hand as he was lost in thought. After a while, unconsciously, he changed to a posture of lying on the table in a daze. He was like a soulless body, lying limply on the table. From the side view of this scene, the dazed young man was incredibly cute. Mateo clenched his fists tightly. This was James, a cool and handsome guy on the surface, but a cute and heart-wrenching little fellow in private. Oliver was in a daze for more than 10 seconds, and suddenly came to his senses as if he had been electrocuted. Thinking that he liked Levi, his ears couldn't help turning slightly red. The camera completely recorded this series of emotional changes of his. The young man with red ears quickly sat up straight, picked up the pen on the table, and carefully wrote a line of words. Then, he tore off this page of the diary. The young man's slender fingers deftly folded the paper in half, then in half again. His fingers fluttered, and his movements were without the slightest hesitation. He actually folded this page of paper into a very complex paper boat in one go. The footage of this action recorded by the camera was as beautiful as a magic trick. Folding paper on the spot, James is just a cute and mischievous teenager with extremely flexible fingers who can fold paper into various shapes. After Oliver folded the delicate paper boat, he placed it on the table, took a look at it, and then smiled and poked the hull with his finger. Then he put away his smile, opened a test paper, and began to concentrate on doing the questions. This time, he didn't stop writing, and his expression was extremely serious. As a straight-A student, solving math problems was a piece of cake for him. The people on the scene could probably imagine that, under the warm-colored lights, the young man was writing as fast as flying, filling in the blank questions on the test paper one by one. The period of time when he was in a daze just now seemed to be just a trivial little episode in his daily process of doing homework. After the scene ended, Oliver stood up, walked to the table, and bowed to everyone. "I finished my performance. Thank you, dear teachers." The redness on the young man's ears gradually faded, and his expression returned to normal. The people on site couldn't help but applaud. A smile also appeared on Mateo's serious face. "You acted very well. Have you read the original work?" Oliver nodded. "Yes, I bought Ms. Lemongrass's book and read it several times." Suddenly, a gentle voice sounded beside him. "Can you fold paper?" It was the original author speaking. Oliver immediately looked at her and politely explained, "Since James likes to fold paper, I searched for some tutorials online these days and just learned to fold the kind of paper boat he likes. I'm not yet proficient in folding other plants or small animals." Lemongrass asked, "Can I have a look at the paper boat you just folded? What did you write inside?" Oliver handed the folded boat to the author. Lemongrass unfolded it and saw, "I want to get into the same university as Levi and stay together forever." There was a big smiling face drawn behind it. This was the content in the paper-folded gift that James gave to Levi in the original ending. Lemongrass looked at the small words and didn't know what to say. At that moment, she was suddenly touched, and her eyes even started to feel hot. When she learned that her novel was going to be adapted, she was actually very nervous, fearing that SKYTRE would find some random people to ruin her favorite character. But today, she never expected that there would be an actor who treated the fictional character James so seriously. He wore the school uniform, brought pens and paper, and even brought a high school math test paper. He portrayed James' contradictory psychology of being sunny and cheerful on the surface but entangled and confused in private. He vividly showed James' usual handsomeness and cuteness when in a daze, and even folded a paper boat that James would give to Levi with his own hands. He was just like James walking out of the book. He was earnest, hardworking, cute, and sunny, making people both like and feel sorry for him. Lemongrass refolded the boat to its original shape and handed it back to Oliver, saying gently, "Thank you for treating James so seriously. James is just a fictional character of mine, but today, you brought him to life." There were so many big shots on site. She shouldn't say too much, and it was up to the director and the investors to decide who would be finally selected. But Lemongrass really couldn't help it. Looking at the young man in front of her, it was as if she saw the character she created with her own hands walking right in front of her. She extremely liked Oliver's performance and was eager to let the people around her also recognize Oliver. Hearing the praise from the original author, Oliver bowed, flattered. "Thank you, Teacher Lemongrass. I really like the character of James, and I also love your novel very much. I'm very honored to participate in this audition." Noah lifted the corner of his lips slightly, looked at Mateo, and asked in a low voice, "What does Mateo think?" Mateo nodded. "It's great, although his acting skills are a bit green. Oliver's understanding of the character is the most in line with the character of James so far, and his on-site performance is also very vivid. How should I put it? This newcomer has a lot of talent." Noah asked. "He's the last one to audition. Can Mateo decide on him?" Mateo frowned and thought for a few seconds. "What about William?" Noah said indifferently. "If William is willing, he can play the supporting male role. As for the role of James, I suggest giving it to Oliver. I'm not partial to the artists of SKYTRE." Mateo also saw Oliver's performance just now. "He's really excellent, right?" Meeting Noah's calm eyes, Mateo nodded firmly. "Yes." Then it's settled. The chaotic performances in the afternoon session gave people a headache. They thought they wouldn't be able to find a suitable actor this time. Oliver's overall performance is the best so far. Plus, the original author also likes him very much. Mateo has no reason to refuse. Noah looked up at Oliver and said gently, "Oliver." Oliver turned his head to look at Mr. Noah, nervously thinking, would the next sentence be, "Go back and wait for the notice?" As a result, Noah suddenly stood up and reached out his hand. "Welcome to join the crew of Folding Paper." Was it really settled? Could he really play James? Hearing Mr. Noah's words, Oliver was completely stunned. His dazed expression was very cute. Noah couldn't help but curl the corner of his lips. "Won't you say thank you?" Oliver came to his senses and immediately ran over to shake hands with Mr. Noah. "Thank you, Mr. Noah." Realizing that there were other members of the creative team on site, he bowed continuously. "Thank you, Mateo. Thank you, screenwriter teacher. Thank you, author teacher. Thank you, all the staff." Everyone around was smiling. Lemongrass was smiling the most happily, with an expression like a mother has found her son. When Noah held Oliver's hand, he found that the young man's palm was covered with a thin layer of cold sweat and the whole palm was wet. Obviously, Oliver was actually very nervous just now. It's just that he had prepared for a long time and memorized the plot in the original work thoroughly, so outsiders didn't notice his nervousness. The little guy performed seriously in such a state and even brought props. Noah's heart softened inexplicably, and his voice became even more gentle. The crew will start shooting after the spring festival. I'll inform your agent of the specific time. Oliver nodded seriously. Okay, then Noah let go of his hand and lifted his chin towards the back door. Go back and have a good rest and adjust your state. Oliver quickly packed up the props he brought, bowed to everyone again, and then turned around and walked out of the door. Noah watched the young man's back and thought to himself, Oliver, you really brought honor to Skytre today. I really didn't misjudge you. Chapter 22, Chapters 25, 27. Oliver was the last actor to participate in the audition today. After he left, the staff in the audition studio began to pack up their things. The whole day audition had exhausted everyone physically and mentally. Noah took the initiative to propose. Everyone has worked hard. I'll treat you all to dinner tonight. Let's have a meal together. Lucas had already booked a nearby restaurant. Noah called all the main creative staff of the crew over, closed the door, and they chatted while eating. Everyone had no objections to Oliver playing the role of James. After all, Oliver's performance was indeed remarkable. The author, Mr. Noah, and the director all liked him very much. As for the other roles, Noah asked, regarding the protagonist Levi, who do you think is more suitable to play him? He looked at the author, Lemongrass, and said, Teacher Lemongrass, do you have a favorite actor? Lemongrass carefully recalled for a moment, then shook her head with a smile and said, to be honest, there were a lot of alphas who came for the audition this morning. They were all very handsome, but none of them left a particularly deep impression on me. Mateo felt the same way. He took out his notebook and glanced at it, then said with a bitter face, I gave each actor a score. The alphas in the morning session were even more of a mess than those in the afternoon session. Levi's character is supposed to have a bit of a rough edge, but most of them played Levi like a third-rate hooligan. Noah thought to himself that Oliver would definitely be fine playing the protagonist, but who would play opposite him? If the role of Levi wasn't cast well, the lack of chemistry between the two actors would make the performance awkward. Noah didn't have a particular favorite among the alphas in the morning session. The only ones who left a deep impression on him from yesterday's auditions were William and Oliver in the afternoon session. William's acting skills were indeed good, but his appearance was too discordant for the role of a cool and handsome alpha. After thinking for a moment, Noah suddenly said, if not, we can look for someone from outside. I've watched a lot of campus dramas recently. Mateo, what do you think of the alpha lead in that drama Classmates from the next class you made the year before last? Mateo was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Mr. Noah to have watched his little-known drama from 2 years ago. He recalled for a moment and tentatively asked, Mr. Noah, are you talking about Henry? Seeing Noah nod, Mateo immediately frowned in a dilemma and said, Henry was just an unknown actor when he worked with me on the drama. His acting skills are indeed good, but he's quite laid back. He hasn't had any works for more than a year. Everyone obviously didn't expect Mr. Noah to pay attention to such an 18-line unknown actor. In fact, the reason Noah had searched through so many campus dramas like looking for a needle in a haystack was to find a suitable person to play opposite Oliver. Noah said, Henry has worked with you before, so there will be more chemistry if you work together again. Oliver is a newcomer. If the protagonist who has the most scenes with Oliver is also a completely inexperienced newcomer, there will be frequent NGs during filming, which may delay the progress of the crew. Mateo quickly understood and said, Mr. Noah means that we should choose an alpha actor who has worked with me and has good chemistry to play Levi, so that he can guide Oliver, and the crew will run more smoothly during filming. Noah nodded and said, What do you think, Mateo? Mateo thought about it carefully and also thought this method was feasible. For a drama, it's too risky to have both leading actors with the most scenes be completely inexperienced newcomers. If one of them has worked with the director and has a certain level of chemistry, and the other is a newcomer, it will be much smoother for Mateo to shoot the drama. Henry is currently an unknown actor, his price is not high, and his acting skills are up to par. Thinking about it carefully, he is really the most suitable one. Mateo simply made a decision and said, No problem, I'll contact Henry later. This guy has been idle recently. Having a drama to shoot is probably like a windfall for him. Noah gave a soft hum, and then said, "How should we arrange William? How about having him guest star as the Omega campus heartthrob? Although it's a supporting role, the second male lead scenes are also very important." Lemongrass remembered William's good looks, and suddenly her eyes lit up and she said, "Mr. Noah, do you mean Aiden in Folding Paper? He has a gentle personality, likes to smile, and is the dream lover of many alphas in the school. He initially liked James and even confessed his love to him. Later, after he found out that James was an Omega, the two became the best of friends." Noah said, "That's right, let William play this role. The effect of the scenes with Oliver should be good." The more Mateo listened, the more excited he became. Two Omegas, one beautiful and the other handsome. A beautiful Omega confessing to a handsome Omega will definitely be a huge highlight when filmed. I think alphas can step aside. Oliver and William standing together will be such a pleasing sight. When this drama is filmed, maybe some people will ship Oliver and William. Haha. He excitedly wrote something in his notebook. Suddenly, his fingers paused. However, William is quite popular. Will he be willing to play a supporting role? Noah. I'll talk to his agent myself. With Mr. Noah's words, Mateo immediately felt relieved. The Noah in front of him gave people a particularly reliable feeling. When he said that he would ask Isabella to write the theme song, Mateo believed it without any doubt. When he said that he would talk to William's agent, Mateo thought this matter was definitely settled. Mateo casually asked, "Mr. Noah, do you have any ideas about the other supporting roles?" Noah said, "Andrew, who grew up with James, is the comedic relief in the whole drama. We can let Thomas, who debuted as a child star from SKYTRE, have a try. He has a baby face and should be able to handle comedic scenes." What does Mateo think of Sophia for the role of Sister Harper? Mateo immediately nodded. "I like this girl Sophia too. She has an elegant and aloof temperament, which fits the character setting of the sister very well." There was still the role of Levi's best friend left. Noah said, "Among the alphas who auditioned this morning, there was a Luca who performed quite well. He has filmed many web dramas and is experienced. At least he won't mess things up." Noah's words exactly echoed what Mateo was thinking. Mateo couldn't help but exclaim, "Mr. Noah, have you really never been a producer before? I think your eye for people is at the level of a professional director." Noah calmly said, "These are all just my personal ideas. I'm only giving reference suggestions. Mateo will make the final decisions." Mateo slapped his thigh and said straightforwardly, "Mr. Noah is efficient. I won't be wordy either. Let's first finalize the 6 important roles. I'll contact Henry when I get back. After getting things sorted out with him, we'll release the promotional announcement." Noah nodded and looked at Lemongrass with a friendly attitude. "Author, would you like to participate in the script adaptation? After all, James and Levi are characters you created yourself. If you could participate in the review, we would be very welcoming." Lemongrass clenched her fingers under the table and said softly, "But I don't have any experience as a screenwriter." Mason said sincerely, "It's okay. I'm here. We can work together." Noah promised, "Your name will be added to the screenwriting credits. Mason, who is experienced, will help with the details. You can control the overall plot direction and try not to let the plot go astray. What do you think? Consider it." Lemongrass immediately agreed. "Okay." She smiled and looked at Noah, her eyes full of sincerity. "Mr. Noah, to be honest, when SKYTRE asked me to come for the audition, I didn't expect you all to be so serious about this drama. Today, seeing Oliver's performance, I feel that he is just like James coming out of the book. I'm willing to participate in the adaptation myself. I hope we can all work together to film this drama well. Thank you, Mr. Noah, for giving me this opportunity." Noah gracefully extended his hand. "You're being too polite. Instead, I should thank you for creating such a lovely character like James and giving Oliver the opportunity to portray him. With just one meal, the important lead and supporting roles were finalized, and each actor fit the character image perfectly." Noah's vision, efficiency, and decisiveness as a producer secretly amazed everyone. The next day, Mateo got in touch with Henry, whom he had worked with before. Henry, who felt as if he had been hit by a pie falling from the sky, excitedly sent a whole row of hugging emojis. "Mateo, I'm so touched that you actually remember me. Mateo silently thought, I almost forgot about you. You should thank Mr. Noah for his discerning eye. On William's side, the agent was initially reluctant to let him play the second male lead. However, Noah calmly said that if one plays the second male lead in an idol drama well, the number of fans gained will not be less than that of the male lead. Moreover, the character design of this role is very good, and there are also many scenes with the protagonist. Two good-looking omegas standing together will definitely generate enough topics. In addition, the salary he offered for the second male lead was not low. After careful consideration, the agent agreed. February 10th was the Spring Festival. Before the Spring Festival, Noah asked the 6 confirmed lead actors to return to SKYTREE to sign the contracts. Finalizing it in advance would prevent any changes after the festival. Emma was so happy that she almost wanted to go downstairs and run laps. All 4 artists she managed were actually selected. Oliver was selected as the protagonist James. Thomas played James' childhood friend. Sophia played James' younger sister, and Luca played Levi's childhood friend. These are all very important supporting roles in the drama. Many newbies in the entertainment industry initially play maids, servants, bodyguards, and passers-by without even a single line. Not only do they get to play important supporting roles with a large number of lines and scenes with other characters, but their names will also be listed at the end of the drama. This is a valuable experience, and acting skills and experience need to be gradually accumulated. The several newbies were very happy. The 3 of them congratulated Oliver one after another and then went to sign the contracts with their agent. Oliver saw William in Mr. Noah's office. William was wearing a nice white overcoat. Amelia smiled at him, and William also returned a gentle smile. The agent Madison was a bit unhappy. After all, the protagonist role was snatched away by this newbie named Oliver. She just couldn't understand. In terms of fame and acting skills, William was much better than this newbie, right? Why was Oliver finally chosen? William himself didn't mind the role being snatched away. He generously reached out his hand and said, Oliver, happy cooperation. Oliver also shook hands with him and said with a smile, please take care of me. William turned around and left. Emma led the 4 newbies into the room to sign the contracts. The salaries of newbies are not high, starting from 100,000. It can't be compared with the tens of millions of salaries of first-tier stars. But for these college students, it's already a huge sum of money. After the newbies happily signed the contracts, Noah instructed, in a few days, it will be the Spring Festival. You can go home and have a good Spring Festival and adjust your state. The drama will start shooting after the Spring Festival. The specific time will be notified to you by your agents. The 4 of them thanked Mr. Noah one after another. After signing the contracts, Emma led them out of the door. Suddenly, Noah said, Oliver, stay behind. Hearing what Noah said, the agent and the 4 newbies were all stunned for a moment. Oliver also stopped walking and looked back at him in confusion. Noah said, regarding the role of James, the original author, Lemongrass, asked me to convey a few words to you. Only then did the 4 of them come to their senses. There had been various rumors today about how much the original author liked Oliver during the audition. Emma tactfully led the other 3 people to leave first, and Lucas also cleverly turned around to get busy. Only Oliver and Noah were left in the office. Noah pointed to the sofa beside him and said, come and sit here. Oliver walked over and sat down, then asked earnestly, Mr. Noah, what did teacher Lemongrass say? Noah said, Lemongrass has promised to personally participate in the adaptation of the script. Oliver's eyes lit up. Really? That's great. She knows the characters like James and Levi best. With her involved, the adapted script will surely be in line with the images of the characters. What is most taboo in adapting novels is making radical changes. There are countless flops of those dramas that have been changed so much that even their original creators wouldn't recognize them. With the original author's personal participation, at least there won't be any random changes. Only when the script is guaranteed can the foundation of the whole drama be stable. Looking at the happy look of the young man, Noah continued, Lemongrass really liked your performance. She asked you not to put too much pressure on yourself. If the fans of the book scold you, she will speak up for you. She and Mason have already gone into seclusion to revise the manuscript. The two of them will cooperate to finish the script adaptation as soon as possible and strive to start filming earlier. Speaking of this, Noah's voice involuntarily softened. This is your first drama since your debut. Don't overthink it. First, learn some experience. Sharpening your acting skills is the most important thing. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Oliver obediently sat on the sofa beside him, with a proper sitting posture, just like listening to a teacher's lecture. After listening for a while, Oliver noticed that Mr. Noah had been looking at him all the time. His heart couldn't help but tremble, and he lowered his head in embarrassment. Noah's gaze was gentle. Your performance yesterday was really great. You searched for tutorials online to learn, performed origami on the spot, and even brought a math test paper. I've interviewed so many actors, and you are the most conscientious one I've ever seen. Oliver's ears turned red from the praise. Thank you, Mr. Noah, for giving me this opportunity. Noah said calmly, the opportunity was given to everyone. It was you who fought hard for it. You don't need to thank me. Suddenly, a warm feeling rose in Oliver's heart. He found that Mr. Noah was very different from other bosses. Most bosses would either directly pour resources into newbies and say, I'll promote you, or when newbies fought hard to get resources, they would put on a haughty look of a wealthy patron and euphemistically say, without me, you wouldn't have such an opportunity. You should learn to be grateful. However, Mr. Noah attributed the result of the audition to Oliver's own efforts and encouraged him to study more and sharpen his acting skills. Mr. Noah was like a gentle elder, protecting these newbies of SKYTRE. Oliver's favorability towards you +2. Oliver's favorability towards you +2. 5 consecutive messages flashed by. Noah took a closer look, and the favorability rating in his mind reached 70 points. A favorability rating of 70 is already as high as Daniel, his childhood friend, has for him. Noah couldn't help but raise a smile at the corner of his lips. Looking at Oliver, he asked softly, are you still getting used to it after moving to the apartment? This tone was like that of a boss caring about an employee, but the voice was indescribably gentle. Oliver's heart skipped a beat for a moment and he quickly said, Mr. Noah, the conditions in the apartment are very good. Mia takes care of me in daily life, so I'm quite used to it. Noah nodded. Well, how about the new agent? Oliver said, Emma is very efficient in handling affairs. She's much better than Benjamin. Mentioning Benjamin, some ambiguous scenes flashed through both of their minds at the same time. At the company's annual party, Benjamin deliberately drugged the juice to make Oliver's pheromones go out of control. That night, Oliver was lying on Noah's bed, naked, hugging him and begging for a mark. Thinking of himself that night, Oliver's cheeks couldn't help but get hotter and hotter. He fidgeted on the sofa. Seeing the blushing-eared young man, Noah also felt a bit uncomfortable. He shifted his gaze from the young man and changed the topic, saying, Go home and spend more time with your parents during the spring festival. Once you start filming, you won't have time to go home. Oliver nodded. I know. By the way, I'll send your down jacket to you as soon as I get home. Noah, okay. I'll be staying in Binjiang these days and can receive the express delivery. The office suddenly fell silent. Oliver lowered his head, too embarrassed to speak. Noah didn't want to show his concern too obviously, so he asked Oliver to go back first. After going out, Oliver took a deep breath. Strange, why does his heart beat faster when he's alone with Mr. Noah? Maybe it's because Mr. Noah's alpha pheromones are too strong and have an impact on him as an omega? Oliver took several deep breaths in a row to calm his heart rate. He thought that he should go to the hospital to get another long-acting inhibitor injection during the spring festival to avoid being affected by alphas. Mr. Noah is so busy. After the filming starts, he probably won't come to the set very often. There won't be many opportunities to meet in the future, so there's no need to worry about being affected and unable to act. Oliver didn't know that right after he left, Noah suddenly called Mateo. Mateo, I want to be the producer of the drama, Folded Paper myself. I'll come to the set often to watch you filming after it starts. Do you mind? Mateo laughed and said, Of course not. With Mr. Noah personally overseeing, I'm more confident in the quality of the whole drama. Early in the morning on February 9th, Oliver went back home. The first thing he did after getting home was to tidy up Noah's down jacket and wrap it in a clean bag. Tomorrow was the spring festival, and today was the 29th day of the 12th lunar month. Fortunately, the same City Express service was still operating, and his mother even bought fresh produce online and had it delivered to their home. Oliver thought for a while and always felt that simply sending the clothes over was not quite right. Noah had taken such good care of him and helped him a lot. Although it was just a boss casually promoting an artist under his management, Oliver knew very well that if Mr. Noah hadn't invested in the campus drama and given the Group C artists a fair chance to audition, a small-time artist like him wouldn't even have the opportunity to audition for the second or third male lead, let alone the protagonist. Oliver naturally understood the principle of repaying kindness. It was the spring festival now, and it was appropriate to send some small gifts to thank Mr. Noah while sending back the down jacket. However, Noah is the boss of the SKYTREE group, and he is assigned artist of SKYTRE. It's difficult to grasp the right measure when giving gifts to the boss privately. If the gift is too expensive, the boss may think you're trying to curry favor with him and flatter him. If it's too cheap, the boss won't take it seriously. Moreover, the Fay family is so wealthy. No matter how expensive the gift is, can it compare with the luxury mansion his parents gave him? Oliver thinks that the most important thing about a gift is the thought behind it. He has been thinking about this for some time. If Mr. Noah had marked him back then, he would never be able to hold his head up in the entertainment industry for the rest of his life. No matter whether he could become popular in the future or not, he would be regarded as a low-class artist who climbed into the boss's bed and sold his body to get resources. Once the netizens found out, they would surely mock him, and he would have to accept the mockery. But Mr. Noah left him enough dignity to be an actor with integrity. He has always been very grateful in his heart, but he just doesn't know how to express it. Oliver doesn't have much to offer. He loves sweets. To satisfy his own taste, he signed up for a 1-month baking class at a cooking school after graduating from high school. He thinks the pastries he makes by himself are quite delicious. He doesn't know if Mr. Noah likes sweets, but giving the pastries he made himself to the other person to try during the spring festival won't have the obvious meaning of currying favor with the boss. Secondly, can also be regarded as a way of showing gratitude. Oliver made up his mind and rushed to the supermarket to buy a large pile of ingredients. Seeing her son bustling around in the kitchen wearing an apron and making pastries, Ava looked puzzled and asked, "Oliver, why are you making so many cakes?" "Mom has already prepared the ingredients for tomorrow's New Year's Eve dinner," Oliver said. "I'm making them to give to someone." Ava walked over to help, but Oliver smiled and sent her out of the kitchen, saying, "Mom, I can handle it myself." Seeing him busy in the kitchen like a spinning top, Ava and Chung Yiming looked at each other, both looking bewildered. Oliver was busy for a whole noon and made many kinds of pastries. There was hardly enough space on the countertop. He doesn't know Mr. Noah's taste, so he made 3 kinds: sweet, salty, and light. The pastries Oliver made are very small, 1 bite size, and there are many delicate and beautiful patterns carved on them. His craftsmanship is almost as good as that of a chef in a 5-star hotel. Oliver left a part of the pastries in the refrigerator for his parents to taste. Then he found a beautiful iron box, put the colorful pastries into it one by one, wrapped it up layer by layer, and then carried the pastries to find the courier. He sent the down jacket and the pastries together and marked "fragile, handle with care" on the box. After sending the package, Oliver went back home, feeling a bit nervous. He doesn't know if Mr. Noah will like the pastries he made. He also wrote a greeting card, hoping that Mr. Noah can receive it before the spring festival. On the evening of the 29th day of the 12th lunar month, Noah returned to the Riverside Villa. The property steward reminded him that there was a package. He thought it was the down jacket sent by Oliver and said, "Put it in the living room first." The property service in the villa area is very considerate. The community property helped him move the package into the house. Just as Noah was about to open it, his phone suddenly rang. The caller ID showed it was Daniel. When he answered the phone, he heard a teasing voice in his ear. "Noah, I heard that you've become a workaholic recently. Is it true? It's been a long time since I last saw you at Blue Garden. Don't tell me you've really turned over a new leaf and are going to be a good boss." Blue Garden Club was a place Noah used to frequent. He and his so-called friends often drank there until midnight. After entering the book Noah indeed changed his old ways of being a playboy and had never been to Blue Garden Club. He wasn't surprised that his childhood friend called. His change would surely catch these people's attention. Since he had taken Noah's identity, he couldn't completely cut off contact with his past friends. Moreover, Daniel's older brother, Julian, was the current president of Ronghua Film and Television, in charge of more than half of the cinemas across the country, which would also be helpful for Noah's future foray into the film industry. Noah put down the paper cutter, picked up his phone and walked to the window. "What do you want from me?" Daniel said seriously. "Before the spring festival, a few of our childhood friends want to get together. This time, it's my brother who organized the dinner. He invited all our old friends who grew up together. I wonder if you'll give us the honor? I'll make it clear in advance that Sebastian and Liam will also be there. If you don't want to see them and be reminded of the past, I'll decline on your behalf," Noah said indifferently. "Why would I be reminded of the past?" Daniel was taken aback and muttered in a low voice. "Well, last time you said you'd let go of Sebastian. I know you just said it to me. You've had a crush on him for so many years. It's not that easy to let go. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten about Sebastian in the original book." Noah frowned unhappily. "Is it at Blue Garden Club? I'll go there now." A moment later, Noah in a black overcoat appeared at the Lanyuan Club. The doorman recognized him and quickly led him to the private room on the 3rd floor. However, today's Noah was completely different from the smiling scion of a wealthy family he used to be when he came to Lanyuan before. Instead, he exuded a strange coldness, so cold that people dared not get close. Noah pushed open the door. There were 4 people sitting in the room, namely his best childhood friends Julian and Daniel, the brothers, Sebastian, this Omega, and Sebastian's fiancée, Noah's cousin Liam. Seeing him appear, Daniel immediately greeted him with a big smile. "Is Noah here?" Sebastian also stood up and said in a gentle voice. "Noah, long time no see. What have you been up to lately?" Noah, busy with work. He bypassed Sebastian, walked to the corner, and sat next to Julian, who was also an alpha. Julian, the CEO of Ronghua Film and Television, was very influential in the industry. Although he didn't have contact with entertainment industry stars, he had the final say on the movie scheduling in all Ronghua cinemas across the country. Compared with the dissolute Noah, Julian took over the Qin family's business at a young age. He was 3 years older than Pei Xiao and seemed very mature and steady. Seeing Noah sitting beside him, Julian showed a meaningful smile. "What, have you really changed? I haven't seen you for a while, and you've changed so much that I almost didn't dare to recognize you." Noah said calmly, "As you all know, my father is in poor health. If I don't strive to make progress, the Fei family will be ruined by me. I'll need your kind assistance in business matters in the future. Let me propose a toast to you all first." He picked up a glass of white wine on the table and drank it up without hesitation. Julian clapped his hands and said, "Good, we've grown up together, so if you need any help, just let us know." Noah didn't directly mention the investment in the campus drama. With Julian's words, if the crew runs short of funds later, he can just talk to someone about it separately. He glanced at Sebastian, and the latter met his gaze, smiling gently with a hint of shyness. If it were the scoundrel Pei in the original work, his soul would probably have flown away. Noah remained unmoved and said faintly, "Sebastian." Sebastian replied with an Before he could say anything, Noah suddenly picked up a glass of wine and handed it to him, saying, "We've grown up together since childhood. I've always regarded you as a friend, but I used to be too carefree and didn't know how to handle things properly, which might have caused some misunderstandings for you. Today, it's better to clear things up face to face." He looked at Liam and said calmly, "Actually, I've never had feelings for Sebastian. It's just that since Sebastian is the only Omega among us, I showed more care and attention to him, which made my cousin and Sebastian misunderstand. It's my fault. I'll punish myself by drinking 3 glasses." Watching Noah drink 3 glasses of wine in a calm and decisive manner, Sebastian's face suddenly turned pale. "He doesn't like me? Was I just being self-assertive?" Daniel was dumbfounded beside them. Was it really necessary to be so harsh? Did drinking 3 glasses as self-punishment mean completely cutting off the relationship? Liam looked complicated and said, "You don't have to do this." Noah said simply, There's someone I like in my heart, and I don't want him to misunderstand my relationship with Sebastian. Besides, Sebastian is already engaged to you. It's better to make things clear. Guessing back and forth will affect our brotherly feelings. What do you think? Liam smiled slightly and said, since you've said it yourself, brother, of course I believe you. Liam's favorability towards you plus 30, starting with a 30 favorability. It has now become 60, reaching the passing mark all of a sudden. The two clinked glasses and drank up the wine. Noah poured another glass of wine and said, with this glass of wine, I wish you two a long and happy marriage. When you return to the country to get married, I'll prepare a wedding gift for you. By then, I'll bring the person I like to attend your wedding together. The person Noah likes was just deliberately said for Sebastian to hear. Sebastian's face looked extremely ugly. In the past, wherever he went, Noah's eyes would always follow him closely. He enjoyed this feeling of being noticed, so even though he was engaged to Liam, his attitude towards Noah was always on and off. But today, Noah's words were like a slap in the face to him. Misunderstanding? It's all just a misunderstanding? What a joke. Could it be that all those previous burning gazes following him were fake? Was it only because he was an Omega that Noah showed him a little more concern? And Noah even said he already had someone he liked. How could that be? The person he likes should be me, right? Sebastian clenched his fists tightly, completely unable to believe it. Noah looked at him and said, what, won't you take this glass of wine? Are you doubting my sincerity? The light in the room was very dim, but at that moment, Sebastian inexplicably saw a glint of cold sharpness in Noah's eyes. That cold look was like it could see through all disguises and pierce directly into his heart. Sebastian's heart trembled under that gaze, and he subconsciously took the glass and clinked it with Noah's. Noah downed the glass of wine in one gulp and said indifferently, what are your plans after the two of you go abroad? Liam said, I'm going to study architecture, get a doctorate and then come back. Otherwise, the old man always says I'm not doing anything serious. The topic gradually opened up. The few of them chatted lively, but throughout, Noah never looked at Sebastian again. Although the atmosphere around them was the same as before, Sebastian felt as if his body was in an ice cellar. He seemed to have become a joke in Noah's eyes. Liam's attitude towards him was also not affectionate. The few alphas were chatting about business matters, and he simply couldn't understand and couldn't get a word in. He sat there extremely awkwardly. The few childhood friends didn't finish chatting until early morning. Noah asked the driver to take him back to the villa. He sat in the back row with a blank expression. Attending this dinner was just to solve the trouble of Sebastian. After all, Sebastian was the villain boss in the original story. After getting together with Noah later, he always went against Oliver, causing Oliver to lose his parents and suffer a lot. The best way was to make Sebastian give up early and stop pestering. He hoped that this Omega would behave himself after going abroad. Otherwise, he wouldn't mind using harsher means. A glint of sharpness flashed across Noah's eyes. It was already 12 o'clock when he got home. He went to drink with these childhood friends without having dinner, and his stomach was aching terribly. Noah wanted to find something to eat, but found the fridge was empty. He had to pick up his phone and frown to order takeout. As soon as the screen lit up, he saw an unread message from Oliver. Mr. Noah, the down jacket has been sent. I also sent you some pastries I made myself. I don't know what flavors you like, so I made many kinds. You can try them if you're interested. Looking at the smiling face at the end, Noah's mind flashed with the sunny smile of the young man, and his heart warmed up involuntarily. He picked up a paper cutter to open the express delivery. The down jacket was wrapped very carefully. There was also a big cardboard box beside it. After opening it, there was an iron box wrapped in layers of foam inside and outside. Noah quickly cut open the foam packaging and took out the box. It's a very delicate gift box. When opened, there are 16 pastries the size of a baby's fist lying neatly inside. Each pastry is of a different color with delicate patterns carved on it. There are also considerate labels under the pastries, reading red bean filling, mung bean filling, sweet black sesame, salty white sesame, taro, purple potato, fruit orange, and so on. They are so delicate and beautiful that one can't bear to eat them. He really put a lot of heart into it. Noah picked up the greeting card in the box and opened it. It was a New Year greeting card written by Oliver, with just 2 simple lines. Mr. Noah, Thank you for your help and care during this time. I wish you a happy new year and all the best. Oliver. It was written neatly, stroke by stroke. Noah smiled slightly, put away the greeting card, picked up a pastry from the box and took a bite. The soft and glutinous pastry melted in the mouth. The rich flavor gently caressed the taste buds. It was simply a kind of enjoyment. Noah usually didn't like sweets, but the pastries made by Oliver weren't too sweet. The taste was just right. These were the most delicious and beautiful pastries Noah had ever eaten. He ate several in a row, each with a different flavor. It was obvious how much effort Oliver had put into making these little treats. His empty stomach was gradually filled, and his heart became warmer and warmer. Noah picked up his phone and sent a message to Oliver. Are you asleep? It was already past 12 o'clock. He thought Oliver might be asleep, but unexpectedly, the message was replied to instantly. Not yet. Isn't Mr. Noah resting yet? I just attended a dinner party and just got home. I've received all the things you sent. Noah paused for a moment and then typed another line. The pastries are very delicious. Thank you. Oliver's uneasy mood immediately became cheerful. He quickly typed back. You're welcome, Mr. Noah. If you like them, I'll make more for you in the future. I can make other flavors too. I'll let you try them then. Noah smiled slightly and replied with one word. Okay. When Noah met these childhood friends today, he was actually in a very bad mood, especially when he had to face an omega like Sebastian. He almost wanted to write the word impatient on his forehead. However, Oliver's pastries healed his bad mood throughout the day. The things made by the young man with his own hands were very delicious, and the greeting card he wrote was also very heartfelt. Noah walked to the window, looked at the dark night sky outside, and whispered in his heart. Oliver, such a wonderful you deserves all my efforts to protect. Chapter 23, Chapters 28, 29. Early the next morning, when Noah woke up, a system prompt flashed through his mind. Plot task. Take Oliver home for the spring festival. Yes/no. He frowned and asked while getting dressed. What do you mean by asking me to take Oliver home for the spring festival? The system explained. The system just releases tasks according to the time. Originally, after you marked Oliver in the first step, Oliver became your lover. At this time point, it's reasonable for you to take him back to meet your parents during the spring festival. Since you didn't complete the newbie task, the plot has deviated. If you can't complete this task either, the player's points will be deducted again. Noah. How many points will be deducted? System. This task is worth 10 points. Noah. Oh, deduct them then. The system seemed to have anticipated his answer. Anyway, Noah always ignored the system's notifications. Clearly, it was a love script about possessing the protagonist and cultivating feelings, but he had forcibly turned it into an entertainment industry career upgrade story. System. Friendly reminder, you only have 35 player points left. Noah asked indifferently. Previously, the plot task asked me to meet Sebastian, but I didn't go and 5 points were deducted. I met him last night. Can I get those 5 points back? The system hesitated for a moment and then whispered, the task doesn't have a strict completion time limit. It seems that you can get the points back. There was a ding in his mind, and the player's points returned to 40. As long as the task points aren't deducted to 0, it's okay. Noah continued to ignore the system task, got up and dressed. Just after finishing washing up, he received a call from his mother, Luna. The woman asked gently, Noah, it's the spring festival today. Mom has prepared your favorite dumplings. Come back for the New Year's Eve dinner, okay? Noah. Okay, I'll go home right away. On Chinese New Year's Eve, he really should go back to celebrate the spring festival with the family in this world. As for taking Oliver, it's such an important festival as the Spring Festival. He has no reason to bring a company artist home. Besides, Oliver also needs to accompany his own parents. As the system said, since the plot has completely deviated, let it continue to deviate. He doesn't like being forced to do things. He will personally take control of the plot in this world. Noah gave the driver a holiday and drove back by himself. When he parked the car in the garage, he saw a very eye-catching red sports car parked beside it. He didn't know whose it was. With a puzzled look, Noah pushed open the door and saw a boy about 18 years old lying on the sofa playing games. The boy had dyed his hair red and used a lot of hairspray. His hair almost stood straight up. He wore a row of diamond stud earrings on his ears, which sparkled under the light. There was heating in the house, so he only wore a short-sleeved shirt with a huge brand logo printed on his chest. He also wore a silver skull metal chain around his neck. Noah's face darkened. This non-mainstream and second-year syndrome dressing style clearly indicated that this was Noah's younger brother in the original work. The original work didn't describe much about the younger brother. It only mentioned that he was studying at a third-rate university with extremely poor grades. He spent his days drinking, going to bars, and playing games with a bunch of cronies, truly inheriting his elder brother's legacy. With such a pair of good-for-nothing sons, it was no wonder that, in the end of the original work, Grandpa Pei's condition worsened and he died with regret. Noah took off his overcoat and casually hung it at the entrance. He changed into a pair of slippers and walked into the living room. He said indifferently, "Theodore, how many subjects did you fail in this final exam?" Theodore, who was playing a game, kept his eyes fixed on the TV screen and casually replied, "Only about 5 or 6 subjects." Noah walked in front of him, blocking his view, and said coldly, "If you fail more subjects, you'll be expelled from school." Theodore, who was blocked, rolled his eyes, threw the game controller on the sofa, raised his eyebrows, and looked disdainful. "Aren't you the same as me? Back then, you couldn't even get into a third-tier college and were sent abroad by Dad. At least I got into a third-tier college." In the past, Noah was really good for nothing, but now that he had changed, he wouldn't allow his younger brother to remain a good-for-nothing. Noah stood up, grabbed Theodore by the back of his collar, and said, "Come with me." Although Theodore was also an alpha, he was only 18 years old after all. His strength was no match for his adult elder brother. When he was dragged into the bedroom, he still looked confused and said, "What the hell has gotten into you today?" Noah pressed him down to sit on the edge of the bed, folded his arms across his chest, and said coldly, "Since you don't like studying and will definitely be expelled from school because of so many failed subjects, getting a diploma from this third-tier college is useless. After the spring festival, you might as well follow me and be my assistant. Learn how to manage a company. I'll cancel your credit cards and pay you a salary every month based on your performance." Theodore stared at him with wide eyes and stammered, "Wah? What? That red sports car in the garage is yours, right? I'll confiscate the car keys first." After saying that, Noah picked up a bunch of keys from the table, rummaged through his younger brother's wallet to find a few credit cards, and stuffed them all into his own pocket. Seeing that he was serious, Theodore immediately jumped up from the bed and said, "Damn it, what right do you have to control me? Mom and Dad don't even care about me." Noah interrupted him sharply, "Do you think Mom and Dad don't care about you for no reason? It's because they're completely disappointed and heartbroken by you. Do you think it's something to be proud of that your parents are heartbroken by you?" The man's gaze was as sharp as a sword, almost piercing several holes in his younger brother. Theodore felt a chill run down his spine when stared at by those cold eyes. The elder brother's question was too sharp. Theodore stood there, stunned, not knowing how to refute for a moment. Noah stared into his eyes and said word by word, "Theodore, Dad is getting old and his health is getting worse. Have you ever thought that if one day the Fei family is no longer as prosperous as before and without Dad's protection, can you still be so arrogant? You're already 18 years old and it's time for you to be sensible. Come to work at the company after the spring festival. There's no room for negotiation." After saying that, he turned around and walked out of the room, leaving only a cold back for his younger brother. The younger brother, who had been scolded for no reason, looked completely bewildered. Noah sat in the dining room, calmly poured a glass of water and drank it to calm his anger. In the original work, the brothers of the Fei family were really hopeless. In the end, the Fei family declined. The company was seized by Deputy General Manager Chui. Noah was stabbed to death by Oliver, and the younger brother Theodore also had no good ending. 5 years later, Theodore was deceived by the people arranged by Deputy General Manager Chui to invest in stocks and lost all his family fortune. He was even lured by those cronies to take drugs, and died of a drug overdose. Although the younger brother is naughty now, there is still time to discipline him. Noah doesn't believe that he can't handle an 18-year-old middle schooler. Theodore, who was in a daze in the study, didn't know what his elder brother was thinking. He thought that his elder brother was just in a bad mood and taking it out on him. After coming to his senses, Theodore immediately went to the dining room and sat down beside Noah, with a flattering smile on his face. Brother, who offended you? I'll ask a few of my buddies to beat him up. My card, I'll keep it for you. Noah frowned and glanced at his younger brother's messy red hair. After lunch, come with me to the barbershop and dye your ugly hair back. Also, take off all your earrings. They're too ugly. Theodore shouted. Do you understand fashion? Stared at coldly by his elder brother. Theodore's voice involuntarily weakened. Let's discuss things nicely. At this time, Luna just came out of the kitchen. Seeing her two sons talking in the dining room, a gentle smile appeared on her face. Noah is back. Your dad is also here. I'll go and cook dumplings for you first. There will be a sumptuous New Year's Eve dinner tonight. Mom will cook delicious food for you herself today. Theodore immediately snuggled up to his mother and acted coquettishly, trying to put pressure on Noah through his mother. Noah saw through his little trick and turned to greet his father in. He whispered, Dad, I have something to tell you. Owen now found Noah very pleasing to the eye. There had been a lot of rumors in the company recently about Mr. Noah becoming a workaholic. As a father, he was really very pleased that his son was willing to work hard. So when Noah said he had something to talk to him about, Owen immediately agreed and took his son to the study upstairs. Noah's words were simple and straightforward. I want to cancel all of Theodore's credit cards. From now on, I'll give him his living expenses. Mom and Dad, don't secretly give him pocket money. Also, after the spring festival, let him come to the company and be my assistant. There's no need for him to go to that third-rate school. Anyway, he hasn't passed a single course since he started college. Owen was stunned. He didn't expect Noah to discipline his younger brother. In the past, these two brothers used to cover for each other and often went out to play together. It had given him a huge headache. Now that his eldest son had changed for the better and was willing to take care of his younger son, Owen was grinning from ear to ear. Good. This is a good idea. Theodore has been spoiled by your mom. It's time to discipline him properly. At lunch, Noah announced this decision. Theodore looked at his mother painfully. Mom, my brother is in a bad mood. He can't just take it out on me. How can I not go to school? Is it proper for me to be his assistant? Just as Luna was about to speak, Noah looked at her and said in a deep voice, Mom, do you want Theodore to muddle through his life like this? He's 18 years old. If you spoil him anymore, you'll only harm him. Going to school? Failing 5 or 6 courses in a semester and hanging out with his good-for-nothing friends every day. Is that what you call going to school? Luna frowned in a dilemma. Meeting Noah's sharp gaze, she trembled and could only whisper, Theodore, what your brother said is right. Just listen to your brother. Theodore looked completely dejected. After lunch, Noah took his younger brother to a nearby barbershop and said to the barber, dye his mess of hair back to black and trim it up a bit. Then he sat on the sofa beside, looking as if he was watching over the haircut. Theodore was about to cry. Seeing the barber coming over with scissors, the young man closed his eyes as if going to his death. After an hour, Theodore's red hair was dyed black. His hairstyle was trimmed into a neat and refreshing short crew cut, and his earrings were removed. The young man in the mirror had handsome features and looked quite good-looking. Noah nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. This looks more like a proper person. Theodore was depressed. Brother, this hairstyle is really so outdated. I'll be laughed at. Noah glanced at him. It doesn't matter. You won't see those so-called friends who laugh at you anymore. What? Am I going to lose my personal freedom? Noah took his younger brother home. When their parents saw their youngest son, who was neatly groomed, they also thought Noah's approach was very effective. Owen fully supported it and promised that he would not privately give Theodore a single cent of pocket money in the future. Noah was decisive and immediately called the bank to cancel all of his younger brother's credit cards. His younger brother stood behind him with a look of utter helplessness. It was almost time for the New Year's Eve dinner in the evening, but the younger brother still hadn't recovered. He hung his head, looking extremely aggrieved as if he didn't want to live anymore, while Noah was in a good mood. He opened his phone and found that there were many New Year greetings on WeChat. Almost all the agents and artists in Group C of the company had sent messages, and his phone was almost flooded with blessing words. He scrolled down for a long time before he found the chat history with Oliver. The chat history stopped at the topic about pastries last night. Strangely, Oliver didn't send a holiday greeting. What was he busy with? Noah casually pinned the chat history with Oliver to the top so that it would be easier to find later. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the family of 4 sat around the table. The New Year's Eve dinner was quite warm. The food prepared by their mother was very sumptuous. After the meal, they all sat in the living room to watch the Spring Festival Gala. Although the original work was set in an imaginary ABO world, novels originated from life. People in the novel also celebrated festivals like the Spring Festival and Valentine's Day. However, there were no skits and songs and dances that Noah was familiar with in the Spring Festival Gala in this world. The stars on TV were all from the world in the book, including 2 artists signed with SKYTRE, both of whom were under Deputy General Manager Choi. Noah found it boring and simply took out his phone to reply to the blessing messages from Mateo, screenwriter Sue, and the author Lemongrass. Near midnight, the younger brother, who had recovered, ran to the yard to set off fireworks. Noah walked to the window and looked out. As the countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sounded on TV, countless gorgeous fireworks suddenly bloomed outside the window. Fireworks were not prohibited in Rongqing City. The vast night sky was instantly filled with colorful fireworks, which was even more lively than the cities in his original world. Just then, the phone suddenly dinged and a WeChat message popped up. Noah picked it up and looked. "I wish Mr. Noah and his family a happy new year and all the best. May everything go smoothly in the new year." There was also a New Year red envelope behind it, with the words "Good luck and great profits." After opening it, there was 66 yuan. It was really auspicious. A hint of a smile flashed across Noah's eyes. Outside the window, the fireworks were brilliant, and the sound of firecrackers was deafening. The festival atmosphere was very strong. He had received many blessing messages from others today, but it was only when Oliver's blessing arrived that Noah felt that this new year was complete. Sending blessings at the stroke of midnight, Oliver's attention to details always warmed Noah's heart. He typed a reply, "I also wish you and your family a happy new year, and may all your wishes come true." Oliver gave him 66 yuan, and he casually sent Oliver a red envelope with 88 yuan in return. It was only proper to reciprocate. Oliver received the red envelope and sent a sticker saying, "Thank you, boss," joking, "Mr. Noah, this number is so auspicious. Does it mean you're wishing me to make a fortune in the new year?" Noah, "Yes, in the new year, I wish you success in your career and a steady stream of wealth." Oliver was extremely happy and sent another "Thank you, boss" sticker to Mr. Noah. The bell echoed over the city, and the new year officially began. Noah, even though he's a workaholic, wouldn't ask everyone to start filming on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Moreover, the scripts for Mason and Lemongrass couldn't be revised so quickly, so everyone else had to stay at home to celebrate the new year. So during these days, he focused his energy on transforming his younger brother. Theodore was forced to study at home and was about to be driven crazy. His friends in his phone kept asking him out every day. But first, his elder brother confiscated his car keys and suspended all his credit cards, so he couldn't go out at all. Second, his elder brother gave him 3 scripts to read and asked him to write analysis notes. Analysis be damned. He had no interest in these at all. Theodore silently complained, "Even our high school homeroom teacher wasn't this strict." After being confined for 2 days, Theodore finally found a chance to get some fresh air. On February 12th, the second day of the Lunar New Year, his mother was going back to the Liu family to pay New Year greetings. He followed along on the pretext of missing his grandfather very much. The Liu family is in the real estate business. Luna is the only Omega daughter of the Liu family's current generation. Her several elder brothers are all alphas, so she has been doted on by her family since childhood, and she has transferred this kind of love to her 2 sons. She is like a canary in a greenhouse, having never experienced any hardships. In the original story, the 2 brothers, Noah and Theodore, were good-for-nothings, which had a lot to do with being spoiled by their mother since childhood. But several uncles of the Liu family are all very capable. Liam is the only son of the 3rd uncle. Noah saw this cousin again when he went to his grandfather's house to pay New Year greetings today. Since they had cleared the air before, Liam's attitude towards him was obviously much better. However, Theodore, with his black hair, looking decent, obediently followed behind his elder brother. He was wearing proper sweaters, jeans, and a coat, and there were no strange patterns on his clothes. Everyone almost didn't recognize him. The two brothers of the Fei family seemed to have undergone a complete transformation. Grandfather greeted everyone with a beaming smile to have a meal. At the dinner table, the old man suddenly brought up Noah's marriage. Noah, your cousin Liam is already engaged. You're 27 after this new year. Shouldn't you start thinking about getting married? Noah calmly said, "Thank you, grandfather, for your concern. I already have someone I like." Having someone he likes is really an excuse that can be used wherever needed. The day before yesterday, he used this sentence to make Sebastian give up. Today, he can also use this reason to decline those messy blind dates arranged by the family. But the old Mr. Lou is very shrewd. Hearing this, he asked further, "You're not just making this up to deceive us, are you? Which family's Omega is it? Bring him back for grandfather to have a look." Noah lied without changing his expression. "I haven't been with him for long. I just managed to court him, and it's not yet time to meet the parents. Maybe in a while, when our relationship stabilizes, I'll bring him back." The people at the table looked at each other in dismay. In this world, once an alpha and an omega confess their love to each other and get together, marking is almost a routine procedure. And once an alpha marks an omega, it's like stamping an approval that the other is his or her partner. Marking isn't something that can be done casually for fun. Generally, as long as they have marked each other, it's very difficult for the parents to object. What does just manage to court mean? Can it be that Noah would actually take the initiative to court someone? Liam lowered his voice and asked, "Haven't marked yet?" Noah, "Yes, he's very shy. I'm afraid of scaring him." Liam let out a soft laugh. "I can't tell. You're actually such a gentleman." Noah said seriously, "When you truly like someone, you'll respect the other person's thoughts. He's still young. I don't want to push too hard and scare him away. Give us some time." Hearing him say so, the elders in the family naturally wouldn't urge him anymore. Theodore looked at his elder brother doubtfully. A person he liked? He was speaking so seriously. Was it true or false? After successfully bluffing his way through with his grandfather, Noah then visited some relatives and friends with his parents. It wasn't easy for him to decline going to visit relatives and friends during the Chinese New Year. Moreover, these relatives and friends from the Fei family carried a lot of weight in the business world. He could also chat about business by the way and gather some information. However, living such days inevitably felt dull. On the evening of the third day of the Chinese New Year, Noah received a message from the screenwriter Mason. "Mr. Noah, as per your request, screenwriter Sue and teacher Lemongrass have been working overtime these past few days. We've first revised the script for the winter part and sent a copy to both you and Mateo. There wasn't enough time to revise the entire script in a short period, but winter was about to end soon. Noah asked Mason to discuss with the author and first revise the script for the winter part. The original author knew the plot of the novel like the back of his hand, and with screenwriter Sue's rich experience, the two of them worked overtime for several days and actually managed to revise the script for the winter part ahead of schedule. Noah said, "Thanks for your hard work," and had a long phone conversation with Mateo. Finally, they set the shooting start time, February 17th, the 7th day of the Chinese New Year, the day when the New Year vacation ended. They would officially start the work, from the auditions on the 9th to determine the actors to the shooting start on the 17th. The time was extremely tight, but there was no other way. School would start in March. They had to hurry up and finish shooting the part of the campus snow scene. For the remaining exterior scenes, interior scenes, and the summer plot, the shooting work could be slowed down a bit. More attention should be paid to the control of details. With Noah personally supervising the quality of the film, it surely wouldn't be bad. Mateo gladly agreed and asked all the collaborating staff such as the photographers, lighting technicians, costume and makeup artists, and prop masters to get ready. After setting the time, Noah pulled the main creators of the film crew into a WeChat group. Knowing the news that the shooting would start on the 17th, everyone hurriedly booked plane tickets to get back to Rongqing. Oliver's home was local, so he didn't need to book tickets. He politely greeted Mr. Noah, Mateo, the author and the screenwriter in the group. Teacher Lemongrass also sent him a friend request. Oliver quickly accepted it and exchanged a few polite words on WeChat. Just then, he received another message from Mr. Noah. Isabella's Memory Fragments MV will be aired on MTV at 8 p.m. tonight. It will also be available on 3 music platforms, Kumi, Leading, and Ding Dang, simultaneously. Remember to watch it. Oliver was a bit stunned and a little surprised. Is it a nationwide simultaneous release? He remembered that Sister Ijuin's songs were previously only broadcast on Kumi Music. Noah said, Kumi Music wanted to buy the copyright of this song and offered a high price, but I didn't agree. Although exclusive copyright would receive key promotion from the platform, a nationwide simultaneous release would have a wider reach and attract more listeners. The MV turned out great this time. A larger coverage area would also be beneficial to your popularity. Oliver felt a warm feeling in his heart. He always thought that Mr. Noah, when talking seriously about work, somehow gave people a very reassuring feeling. Whatever Mr. Noah said was right. Mr. Noah's decision was definitely the best one. A nationwide simultaneous release and an exclusive buyout by a platform are not on the same level in terms of coverage. Oliver often listened to music. He knew that the 3 music platforms, Kumi, Leading, and Ding Dang, almost divided up all the music users in the country. That means that at 8 p.m. tonight, all the music-loving audiences across the country can listen to Isabella's new song on their usual platforms and watch the MV of this song and get to know the lead actor in the MV, Oliver. How many people would remember his face in just 4 minutes? Today is Valentine's Day at 8 p.m. Many couples may be out for dinner or on a date. Isabella's song is not a warm love song but a song with a tinge of sadness about the memories of first love. During the Chinese New Year, would this kind of sad song be unpopular? Oliver wasn't sure either. The next moment, Noah said again, Don't worry, Isabella has her own popularity. When she releases a new song, it will definitely land in the top 3 of all major charts. Pay attention to your Weibo tonight. Isabella will mention you to attract her fans. You can appropriately post a Weibo to thank Sister Ijuin for giving you this opportunity. As if not very assured, he added another reminder. Don't mention SKYTREE in your post. Only mention Isabella. You have another drama invested by SKYTRE later. Don't give people the impression that Skytree is trying to promote you. This can easily attract negative attention. And some people may be jealous of you and suspect that you have a background or have been involved in improper practices. Keep a low profile. Do you understand what I mean? Oliver immediately nodded. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Noah. These details should have been conveyed by the agent, but Noah sent the message himself. Oliver was a bit flattered. After closing the chat window with Noah, his agent Emma also sent a bunch of messages, asking him to write a Weibo post in advance and show it to her. After the MV was released, could attract the fans from Isabella. Oliver told his parents the good news. Chung Yiming excitedly slapped his thigh. Really? Son, you're going to be on TV. Ava also looked very pleased. Last time you told me that I'd soon see you on TV. I thought you were joking. I didn't expect you'd shoot an MV so soon. Our Oliver is amazing. Both of them were extremely excited. This was the first time they saw their son on TV. His parents cut a plate of fruits, laid out some sunflower seeds, and sat upright on the sofa waiting for 8 p.m. to arrive. Oliver pretended to be calm on the surface, but he was actually very nervous inside. The clock struck 8 p.m. On MTV, the host said with a smile, Today is Valentine's Day. A new song will be premiered on MTV. Next, let's enjoy Isabella's new song Memory Fragments. As the gentle prelude sounded, the melody of Isabella's new song Fragments of Memory gradually reached the ears. This song is a campus song with a very gentle style. The prelude uses a large number of elements such as guitars and harmonicas. Isabella also served as the arranger herself. The music rhythm is slow. Along with the rustling sound of turning pages, it instantly brings people into that simple and innocent campus time. In the MV, students in blue and white school uniforms stood neatly on the playground. There was a red banner saying Centennial Celebration hanging at the school gate. Isabella returned to her alma mater for the celebration in a neat suit dress. Suddenly, there came the clattering sound of leather shoes stepping on the floor behind her. She smiled and turned around. The camera suddenly zoomed in, and she met a pair of dark and clear eyes. Oliver remembered that during the shooting, in order to present the scene of reunion after many years, the makeup artist deliberately made Oliver look more mature. He was also asked to wear a suit, a shirt and a tie, and his hairstyle was made as close as possible to the image of a white-collar youth. It has to be said that makeup and styling can really change a person's aura. Chang Yiming and Ava almost didn't recognize their own son. Adult Oliver is so handsome. The camera was directly pointed at his face. His front, enlarged face still had no flaws at all. His facial features were as delicate as if they were carved. In the picture, Oliver seemed to recognize Isabella and showed her a gentle smile. "Open the dusty memory, and meet you again in my dream." Isabella's gentle voice sang the first line of the lyrics. The picture in the MV suddenly changed. In the hazy dream, she seemed to have traveled back to her high school days and saw the male god she secretly liked again. Oliver was wearing a high school uniform. At that time, he still had the innocence of a teenager, and his smile was bright and sunny. He was reading in the library with a very serious look on his side face. He was running on the basketball court with a clean and neat shooting posture. He was doing questions in the study room. Occasionally, when he couldn't solve a question, he gently pressed his pen against his forehead and thought. He was walking on the campus path, and the sun shone through the leaves on his face. The pictures in the MV kept changing, just like messy fragments of memory. Isabella passed by the corridor and heard the sound of the piano coming from the room. She tiptoed and looked inside. The young man was sitting in front of the piano, playing the black and white keys seriously. The camera gradually zoomed in. His fair and slender fingers were like they could do magic, dancing lightly on the keys. The notes flowed slowly in the ear. Outside the window, it was snowing heavily, and the whole world was so quiet that it seemed that only the melody of his piano remained. The camera shot alternately. Oliver's side face while playing the piano was as beautiful as a painting under the highlight and filter. Remember the tranquility of the starry night after evening self-study. Remember the innocent waiting at the school gate. Remember that winter, the notes you played scattered in the air, just like flying snow falling into my heart. Every line of Isabella's lyrics perfectly blended with the pictures in the MV. Oliver didn't think it was anything special during the shooting, but after the post-production editing, combined with the goddess's gentle singing and the beautiful pictures in the MV, even Oliver was involuntarily brought into this warm but sour memory. Isabella's clear singing is very infectious, and the pictures in the MV are also beautifully processed. In just a few minutes, it is like a complete short story film. Oliver seems to really feel that kind of young heartbeat and first love, and the helplessness and regret of meeting again as adults when we have already drifted apart. At the end of the MV, Isabella met Oliver again in the auditorium. She tried hard to reach out her hand to touch the young man she once liked. Oliver in the dream also reached out his hand. Just as their fingertips were about to touch, the surrounding air suddenly shattered like a mirror, and countless fragments flew everywhere. Each fragment had Oliver's face printed on it. The alarm clock rang abruptly. Isabella suddenly sat up straight, only to find that the tears in the corners of her eyes had wet the pillow. The singing stopped abruptly, the dream ended, and a small line of text slid across the screen. Dedicated to all of you who have ever had a crush on someone. The song finished playing, but the room was very quiet. Mom and Dad stared blankly at the screen. Oliver didn't know how to describe his own feelings either. This was his first time appearing in public, and the effect was countless times better than he had imagined. When shooting the MV at the beginning, it was all shot scene by scene. Oliver had been working overtime with Jack for those few days and only felt very tired. He didn't expect that after the post-production editing, adding some dream special effects, and then matching Isabella's music, the effect would be so perfect. With a nervous heart, Oliver asked softly, "Dad, Mom, what do you think?" Coming back to his senses, Chang Yiming slapped his thigh and said, "Good, good, good. It's amazing. This is the most wonderful music video Dad has ever seen." Oliver thought to himself, you don't usually watch music videos at all. This is also the only music video you've ever seen, right? Ava's eyes were also moist, and she choked with sobs. Oliver, you're really handsome in front of the camera. Mom is proud of you. Parents must have a halo filter when looking at their son, but Oliver was still very happy to be praised. His parents' excitement also infected him. He quickly turned on his phone and searched for comments online. The new song has been simultaneously released on the other 3 music platforms. There weren't many singers releasing new songs on Valentine's Day today. As soon as Isabella's new song was released, it directly landed at the top of the daily search list and sales list. Just on the Cool Music platform, the sales volume had exceeded 6 figures within just 4 minutes, and the click-through rate of the MV was also increasing rapidly. Oliver clicked into the MV and saw countless colorful bullet comments slid across his eyes. The little brother is so handsome. He's definitely a campus heartthrob. Which school did they invite him from? He looks so good. Isabella has good taste. The protagonist of this MV has great charm. His smile makes my heart melt. The number of bullet comments during the piano playing part skyrocketed crazily. Almost the entire phone screen was covered by the fans' bullet comments. Oliver had to slow down the speed of the bullet comments and adjust the display rate to 50% to see clearly. A hand fetishist's ultimate satisfaction. These hands are so beautiful. I really wonder what it would feel like to hold his hand. Little brother, can I touch your hand? Hands born for playing the piano. Did they find him from a conservatory of music? I want to crawl into the screen and lick his hands. I know I'm being a bit crazy. Seeing the enthusiastic messages from the fans, Oliver gently rubbed his fingers, and his cheeks couldn't help but flush. What kind of crazy words are these? There are even people who want to crawl into the screen and lick his hands. Stop joking. Just then, a WeChat message from his agent suddenly popped up on his phone. Oliver, quickly check Weibo. Isabella's new song is on the hot search. She also mentioned you, and your Weibo has exploded. Oliver quickly opened Weibo. The 7th hot search item is Isabella's new song. The 15th hot search item is the premiere of Memory Fragments. Clicking in, it's all news about the release of Isabella's new song. The most popular one is from Isabella's own Weibo. She wrote a lot of words of thanks and finally mentioned Oliver. Here, let me solemnly introduce to you the leading actor of the new song MV. At Oliver, am I good at picking people? Oliver is handsome and serious. He played the piano himself in that part. Oliver has reached the 10th level in piano proficiency. Awesome. Great. Isabella's fans screamed crazily and flocked to Oliver's Weibo. His Weibo originally had less than 200 followers. As a result, after Isabella's promotion, his Weibo actually gained 100,000 followers in a short time. Oliver's fingers were trembling when he opened his Weibo. 100,000. He had never seen so many fans. Just by acting in a 4-minute MV and being mentioned by Isabella once, he gained 100,000 followers. It's terrible. The number next to the private messages has become 1350 plus. It's simply impossible to read them all. Oliver was overwhelmed with gratitude and quickly posted a Weibo as his agent instructed. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you, Goddess Isabella, for giving me this opportunity. I really like Sister Ijuin's songs and am also very honored to participate in the recording of this MV. I hope everyone can support Isabella's new song more. Flowers. Flowers. Isabella's fans immediately left excited messages. Oliver only thanked Isabella from the perspective of a fan and helped promote Isabella. After all, the MV is an accessory to the song, and Isabella is the real protagonist. As an actor in the MV, overemphasizing himself would steal the limelight. Isabella's fans also thought the little brother who helped promote the goddess was extremely cute. They all screamed under his Weibo, and a large number of fans said they wanted to see him play the piano. Jack had long guessed that there would be such an effect after the MV was released. Therefore, he had recorded the entire segment of Oliver playing the piano. Taking advantage of the fans' eagerness, Jack simply posted the full-length behind-the-scenes video of Oliver playing Snowy Fantasy on his personal Weibo, and Isabella also retweeted it. Once this behind-the-scenes video was posted, the number of retweets immediately exceeded 100,000. The behind-the-scenes footage didn't have any filters or post-production special effects. It was just a simple video. Oliver sat in front of the piano and played the entire piece attentively. The young man either closed his eyes and immersed himself in the music or smiled as he looked at the black and white keys in front of him. His nimble hands fluttered quickly over the keys, and the pleasant piano notes resounded in the enclosed music room. His piano playing is so professional. The fans kept replaying, retweeting, and commenting. As a result, the behind-the-scenes video of Oliver playing the piano that Jack posted made it onto the hot search again. On Valentine's Day night, Isabella's newly released single became a huge hit across the internet. Everyone was talking about this song. There were also many professional reviews from music critics and the feelings of fans after listening to the song on major music platforms. I can't help but think of the beta senior I had a crush on in high school. Oliver's image is very close to that of a campus heartthrob. He really has a fresh, natural, and handsome face. Isabella wrote this song very well, and the MV also adds a lot of points. The protagonist of the MV has good looks, temperament, and acting skills. I heard he is a new artist from SKYTRE. I'm optimistic about his future development. I'm a beta girl. Isabella's song really touched my heart. Also, I'm going to be a fan of Oliver. He plays the piano so well. One comment after another made Oliver's eyes grow hot involuntarily. He had never expected that so many people would remember him just from a 4-minute music video. For the first time, he felt himself being loved and followed by so many people. For the first time, he experienced the panic of having his Weibo flooded with messages. And for the first time, he found that seeing himself on TV felt infinitely better than he had imagined. Being an actor has been his childhood dream. Now that his dream has only taken the first small step, he still has to keep working hard. Just as Oliver was excitedly scrolling through the comments, Noah sent another message. Oliver, your ability to gain fans has exceeded my expectations. Your Weibo followers have already exceeded 300,000. Oliver quickly replied, "Thank you, Mr. Noah, for giving me this opportunity, and thank Isabella and Jack for helping with the promotion." Noah calmly said, "This is just the beginning. You still have a long way to go. Making a small splash in the music circle is still far from making a name in the film and television industry. Keep a normal mind and get ready to join the crew to shoot a new drama." Oliver sent a smiling face. "Okay, Mr. Noah." He always felt that Mr. Noah was a bit like his high school homeroom teacher. Although he was a bit serious, every word he said made sense. At this moment, Noah was sitting in front of his computer, and the screen was frozen on the scene of Oliver playing the piano in the MV. Theodore came to his brother with a cup of coffee, trying to plead with him and shamelessly ask for some pocket money. As soon as he pushed the door open, he saw his brother staring at the computer screen, and his gaze was actually a bit strangely gentle. He leaned over to take a look and immediately saw Oliver. Theodore couldn't help but ask, "Who is this?" Noah withdrew his gaze and calmly said, "This is from Isabella's new song MV. Isabella is a singer from SKYTRE. Theodore pointed at the person on the computer and said, "I'm talking about him. He's quite good looking. Were you just looking at him, bro?" Noah frowned unhappily and asked, "Have you finished the task I assigned you?" Theodore immediately put on a bitter face and said, "Why are you just like my high school homeroom teacher, assigning me homework every day? I'm already so old, and I still have to do homework for you." Noah said, "Finish it within a week. Otherwise, I'll cut your salary in half next month." Theodore asked curiously, "How much salary do you pay me?" Noah thought for a moment and said, "Based on the company's intern salary. If you perform well, you'll get 3,500 yuan a month." Theodore almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. He used to spend more than 35,000 yuan a month. Then Noah added, "If you perform poorly, you'll only get 500 yuan. Seeing his brother's indignant face, Noah was greatly amused and said, "Why aren't you going to do your homework?" Theodore turned around listlessly and walked away. Only then did Noah turn on the computer screen. When filming the music video that day, he passed by the piano room and saw Oliver playing the piano. The scene left a deep impression on him. Now, when he watched the post-processed music video again, after adding a hazy dreamy effect, the young man sitting quietly in front of the piano seemed to have a faint halo floating around him. He was so good looking that people couldn't take their eyes off him. He could understand why after the behind-the-scenes footage of Oliver playing the piano was released, his Weibo followers skyrocketed to 300,000. A serious and good-looking young man is really lovable. Noah felt a kind of gratification as if the little seedling he had planted had been recognized. Don't be in a hurry, Oliver. What's 300,000 followers? This is just the beginning.